over, by the way. I think I saw. You know, I'm always like, I always want to talk to certain people, and then they come in and out of my like reality. And I saw Allie recently, and then I think online I saw that you just adopted a dog or rescued a dog. Is that true?
It was our 1-year pup-iversary yesterday.
Oh, okay. So it's been a whole year.
It's been a whole year.
You've rescued an animal.
Yeah, it was a big deal because today I got the results back that we thought he had kidney disease, which was like not a cheap or fun thing to go through. And basically the results are like that his kidney levels are like back to normal. Like just like, yeah, I don't know.
That's so strange.
Like crazy.
Did you change his diet or anything?
He's on medicine and everything. So
okay.
but the doctor was like, you can start giving him less medicine. Like he might be in remission. And I was like, what?
There you go.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is great.
That sucks.
Did you have pet insurance or were you paying for all these?
Paws.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's called Healthy Paws.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Everything's cute. I
That's
mean,
cute.
everything dog. Even when dogs are like sick, it's like cute. He had like paw creatitis. No, I made that up. But you don't know.
We had like I said before, the dogs had a cone on $1,100 hike we went on. Take him on a hike.
Yeah.
We go to get he gets a whole giant big old cut, and then like we tried to do surgery.
Yeah,
Tasha loves to do. By the way, everyone, we're talking with Allie Zisfein. She's our friend, our stand-up comedian friend, who's from
Connecticut.
I
know. I said that with a question.
Oh, how did I not know that? I'm Rhode Island. We're
both
totally
boring
bougie.
states. Yeah, just boring states.
I feel like Connecticut and Rhode Island both make fun of each other.
Yeah, sure. Because they're both just like,
there's nothing going on there.
No.
Connecticut's rich New York.
Yeah. Richer New York.
Richer New
New
York.
York's not doing too bad.
Are you north or south of New Haven? That's where I divide Connecticut. Because you don't even know. New Haven's
I'm
like
closer to New York.
Okay, then that's south of New Haven
sure,
for sure.
Okay. I'm just like,
you should definitely know where New Haven is if you're from Connecticut.
I know, but I know
on the train.
I mean, I could get there, but it would not take me.
Is it true?
I'm bad at directions. I
was going to say I don't want to generalize, but every. By the way, I post video on YouTube and I post it on Reddit, and everyone on Reddit says I'm cringy. And I've never been told this in my life. I think cringy is a new word that women are using.
Maybe it's the same one person saying
But then I said it to Tasha, and Tasha goes, "You were cringy when I met you." So I go, "Am I being
like creepy?"
Yeah, because we were talking about the gynecologist, and I called the vagina ugly. God forbid a male called the vagina ugly, like it's supposed to be some fucking Mona Lisa.
Can we just agree that all things down there are ugly? Vaginas are ugly, and dicks are ugly, and balls are ugly.
Are not ugly.
Tasha looked at my balls like less than an hour ago and mentioned how they looked like a labia.
Balls aren't
because they were a little like they were sagging and kind of foldy.
Yeah, balls are not good.
I had basset hound neck balls.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to
ask.
My
mom listens to this.
First of all, Jeannie, if you're listening, I can't have you listen because I can't change what we talk about. You know what I mean? Like,
just don't clip that and put it on Instagram. I think that's where she watches.
Tasha's got a friend who's like a minister in Washington who listens, or like not a minister, but they
stay on the up and up about what's going on and how cringy you are.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cringy, I feel like maybe it's like, ugh, like that. Like maybe it's like embarrassed for you.
Well, because I was about to ask, to ask if it's true that women are less directional than men because you don't even know where in Connecticut you live. But is that cringy of me to ask? You know what I mean? Like I'm so.
Is it cringy of you to ask? No, I think it's. I mean, I don't think it's condescending, but I think people are on high alert.
That's like a stereotype.
Yeah, I think people are on high alert for like, oh, that's a red. You did something bad. And it's like, I don't care.
And it's that ink blot test or whatever online.
Yeah.
So it's like if you see me as like a white dude online, you just imagine I'm just the worst version of or I'm just a nice guy. Like it's whatever you want me to be because there's no context to it.
But everyone has opinions and they're all just, and the internet and everything now just you get to hear everyone's shitty opinions now.
It's just
there's
wild
no
though.
censoring. Yeah. So like anyone who, like also it's just like, who cares? Like anyone who's like, you're like this, you're like this, you're like, you have no idea who I am. I'm 1,000 different things. I don't know. I don't like to subscribe. I'm never going to victimize someone if you have an opinion and being like, oh, are women not good at directions? I'm like, this particular woman, me? Terrible at it. Well, I don't speak about all women.
That Hawaiian yoga teacher got lost for 17 days.
She was wandering in the desert for 40 years.
She wasn't even out far. She just made a left turn. And next thing you know, she's surviving on the Klondike bars or whatever the fuck she's doing.
One time I parked around the corner from my ex-boyfriend's house. We were still dating at the time. And I had like left and I left my phone in the car. I literally parked I want to say like maybe 2 seconds away from the front door. I walked out, was like, oh, fuck, I'm totally lost. Waited until I knew he had to leave for improv practice. I'm standing outside his door, like outside his gate. I'm like fully locked out, don't have my phone, can't figure out where my car is. He's like, why are you outside still? I was like, I lost my car. He was like, literally, it was one street over.
Were you
I
early enough?
I didn't even want to walk to go find it because I wanted to make sure I could get back because I thought I'd get lost in that. span time.
Yeah, well, it's true. If you like go looking for something, you could totally get disoriented.
Yeah, I just get very disoriented. I write down every time I write down where I park my car. Today I didn't, but like I took a pretty good, because it's enough times where I'm like, you're walking around clicking your car and you're like, it's just not worth anymore. Like I gotta write down. So in my phone I have so many like jokes and like fourth and this, third and this, like just to make sure I don't get
now,
lost.
I don't want to compass shame you. But
no.
Can you look at the sun and know which way is west?
No, what?
What? Because
Can anyone do that?
Tasha drives the wrong direction.
No, I'm very good at directions. Don't
no,
even
a lot
say
of
that.
women
The sun sets in the west, so you can't look and
I
go.
don't know a lot of men that would admit they're bad at directions. How's
That's
that?
Yes, because you are not
Don't
exactly
get all
the
Jerry Springer on me,
greatest.
Tasha.
Oh, please get Jerry Springer.
For those audio-only listeners, there's people pointing at me right now.
People.
Cringy dude. But anyway, the
Cringy.
whole point was that, and again, this is gonna. Tasha said this in itself was cringy, but I don't think it's cringy if you're aware. I was just saying, all these ladies calling me cringy. It was two. If I met you at a bar, I'd charm the fuck out of you. I would. So that's why I get so annoyed when it's like
They would cringe, and then they'd be like, maybe?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I would totally find
5
out.
years later, they'd be like, I guess.
Yeah. I think anyone who's like, I could charm the pants off you, that's cringy.
Allie, listen.
I'm just saying.
I'm aware of it. Tasha said the same thing. That's cringy the way you said it. Look, is it cringe? And I'm thinking, like, am I just do I have young Joe Biden energy?
Yes.
But like,
Young
because
Joe
is Joe
Biden.
Biden cringy, or is he not the most charming old guy in the world? Because everyone online says he's cringy, but I swear if he walks into a room, everyone goes, "That's fucking Joe Biden."
Because Joe Biden's weirdly touchy in a lot of like pictures and videos,
Yeah,
and you're like,
he
maybe
was,
he
like,
doesn't
smelling
know.
someone's hair.
Yeah, and you're like,
You know what's funny is
No.
we I guess we'll jump into it now because I wasn't going to, but Allie mentioned touchy. That's Allie took our quiz for 5 love languages, and that was the lowest ranked thing is touch.
Well, okay, I have a lot of things to say about these 5 love language things. I think I like that this test is like that this particular one showed a wide array. Like you could be a bunch of things. I also kind of feel like I was being choosy, being like, well, I don't love being touched, so I'm gonna not touch. Do those.
It's
not
hard
pick
to
those.
be like honest with yourself about everything.
Well, because I'm also like, well, is this? If I answer this way, is it gonna make me have this love language?
Listen, who doesn't
like overthinking.
Who doesn't like?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't.
I'm not talking like a stranger, but like, hey, it's okay. Like there's something about there's an electricity.
But you know what? I mean, for the longest time, I was super uncomfortable with hugs because I didn't grow up in a touchy family.
Yeah.
And I'm still very much like a bubble space sort of person. I offer a lot of hugs and I receive a lot of hugs, and like that's cool. But I would be weird if like a total like it's situational.
But like I hugged you and I'm like, I felt like that was okay. But also sometimes I'm like, I'm like, oh, I'm wearing makeup. I don't like you were wearing not a white shirt, so I was like, perfect, I can hug you because like I'm a shorter person. I'm always worried I'm gonna get my whole face on your shirt.
Just a print.
I'm gonna be like, well, I left my mark. I've done it before, and I'm like,
Tasha's like, who the fuck's face is that on your shirt?
So I'm like, I come up to like here on a lot of people, so I'm like, that's a big thing why I'm not super huggy, but
now like who is it, Google or Facebook, some headquarters, I don't remember who it was, you can't hug in the workplace. And that's a thing. It's like, at what point can you not make, or no, they had a rule, you can't make eye contact for over 2 seconds.
What?
That was the big thing. Let me look it up. There's someone that said you can't make eye contact for over 2 seconds. This is a real thing. Somebody has to talk while I look it up.
That sounds crazy.
That sounds like
But the point
oddly
is that
specific and probably not true.
And here's the thing. Our society is so litigious that we need to draw the line somewhere. That's the problem with the abortion debate. It's like, well, if you're okay with that, why don't we just rip it off? It's 3 years old. Are you okay then? And it's like everyone has to like find that line to argue. And at the workplace, the HR, they're like, okay, so you can look at somebody, but you can't.
Well, it's like you can't leer at someone.
Yeah, but there's an obvious difference. But I guess they have to define it for legal reasons.
I don't know. For
know.
people who just like, it's mostly probably for legal reasons. That's very true because it's not just for people who don't get it. Because most people with common sense get it. And then,
but how many people are there in the world that have none of that? There are lots.
There's a lot of people who just like are so. I had a guy.
Netflix 5-second staring rule. That's what it is.
My roommate works at Netflix. Wait, I had a guy.
Netflix bans employees for looking at each other for more than 5 seconds. That's all I'll say about that.
I'll ask my roommate when I get home because she works at Netflix and she did have. There were some.
Oh, it's not going both ways. No one's banning a female for looking at you. You're just gonna rub one out after if that happens.
If she's looking at you for more than 5
seconds.
seconds.
If a women's looking at you for more than 5 seconds, you're gonna feel like $1 million.
Why? What if she's like, you have a booger or something?
Yeah.
But she like won't tell you. Like, what do you mean?
Because
I look at people all the time and I'm like, ew.
Men are eternally optimistic, so we assume you want to fuck us, and that's
but
the genetic thing that keeps us trying to shoot our shot.
Well,
you know.
I feel like, okay, this is one thing. This happened to me at work recently. It wasn't someone I work with. It's a weird thing. Like, it was a client at the gym that I manage. no names, whatever, because it was just so bizarre. But like he was telling me a story how he said that some woman told him, this is like a much older man. I definitely don't think he's listening to this podcast, but he was telling me how some woman once told him that she didn't know they made them that big white. And I was like, oh, and he was like, and it's true. And I was like, oh my God.
How old would you say?
I mean, I think he's in his 60s.
Good for him.
And I was like,
What's wrong
I
with
was just
people?
like, that's the common sense thing where I was like, but I was like, in my mind, part of me, like later on, I was thinking about it, I was like, I wonder, because then later on he was like, are you nervous? And I was like, what do you mean? You just told me you have a big white dick. Like,
So
gross. I'm not nervous. I'm fucking uncomfortable.
Weirded out.
You teach
yeah.
spin
like,
class.
No, I don't teach it. I
But,
manage
oh,
gym.
oh, okay.
I don't
But
teach
I'm just wondering because the
But
gym for men is a very sexual
it's-
place.
but
And
it-
I don't think it goes for women
No,
that
it
way.
is. It is. But the idea
But
that
most
this
people
guy,
have
like,
enough common sense to not be creepy
we were in
and
the lobby.
overbearing.
We were in the lobby. He wasn't working out. Like it was, we were closed. Like he came by to
Look,
talk to
I'm
someone.
not defending him.
No, I know. But my whole thing was this. All I wanted to do was get up and be like, what? Like, in the flip side of that would be like, what if I got up and was like, this is wildly inappropriate and super uncomfortable. Like, never tell a woman that again. Like, how would that? Because then I'm like, I can't. There's no way to.
Well, you're in the position, and that's why they have like this Me Too stuff, right? It's like who has the power in this situation.
Yeah.
You're at your place of work, and if you talk back to a
Yeah.
customer, you're going to be the one in trouble,
Exactly.
regardless of what happened.
Exactly.
It's a risky situation that women find themselves in
Yeah.
all the time, and it's like we would love to be the person that says that's wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Please don't talk to me that way, and put somebody in their place. But
Yeah.
like we have to protect our own asses
Exactly.
too,
And I
and
was
like not just from getting
Yeah.
fired, but also from getting decked
or
or
just
like
to be like uncomfortable, or just every time I'm in there now, it's uncomfortable. So instead, I tell everyone else around me at work, and we all joke about it, whatever. And it didn't make me feel like violated or anything like that, but it did make me want to be like, how has no one told you this is not okay?
Who do you think you are putting me in this position?
Well, it's also a thing where it's like my dad is the most like PC, like this man sleeps in collared shirts. He is just like proper.
Connecticut right
he
there.
is like just so proper. Like
Sleeps in a collared
he
shirt.
is like he loves the mail. Like he is a very like he is just the most proper together. Like would never in a like we're not huge touchers. No, never in a million years dream of saying something like that to a woman. Like I've like if he referenced any part of his body that wasn't like. He like lost like a little bit of weight and he's like, look, I lost there's no world where that would be something he would say. So it's not like I can even relate and be like, well, some men in my family are like, no, I don't come from a family
we can
of that.
all agree that that's crossing the line. But there are places where like we're comedians. We do shows with other comics.
Mhm.
Some dudes are huggy. I know who I can hug, and
Sure,
it's men and women. But I also know like I don't know. I know I'm not in a situation where we're all drinking and I'm hugging. Where it's like, oh hey, good to see you. No, there's just people, and then you can read people that are kind of like stiffen up tight. But yeah, I grew up as just a hugger guy. Like I hugged everyone in high school. It was like the thing. My buddy Joel, he's this big 6'5" guy. He would hug a chick when he first met her, and then they would all fall for him. Not all of them, but like I'm telling you. 99% of them were like he's just this giant.
Was it the hug or was that he was 6?
It was
whatever?
the fact that
exactly.
No, you're right, but he
blonde, blue eyes.
Yeah, right. We're like, let me see Joe.
easy, Tasha.
Yeah.
Easy. No, but it's true. And I was like, oh fuck this guy, because he knew what his game was. He's like as the protector, so he would show them that I'm protecting you. It sounds so stupid to say, but like we're talking about living in today's world, but still having the genetics. Tasha mentioned, how we hold the genetics from our past lives, like it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were having a fun talk about this at 4 a.m. this morning.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try and do a recap as quick as possible.
20
so you know how
seconds.
there's been theories, right, that people hold memories in their DNA from their ancestors. So like people who survived the Dutch famine, their children of like 45 and 44 and 45, their children and grandchildren don't process glucose the same way, because they were offspring of people who lived through a famine.
Right.
Grandchildren of Holocaust survivors have lower cortisol levels. Cortisol helps you bounce back after stress, right? So there's been a lot of theories that this is a thing. So they did a study on nematodes, these like worms that glow when they're above a certain temperature and don't glow when they're below a certain temperature. So what they did was they took a batch and they put half in cold and half in hot, and only the hot ones glowed. Then they took half of those hot ones and put them in cold, and they continued to stay hot. So then they did a new batch, and that lasted for 7 generations. That if their ancestors had been exposed to, or no, if they had been exposed to the warm, they kept still glow in the cold.
Whoa.
And then they did a separate study where the worms themselves, it was only the offspring that weren't exposed. So it was basically they had them in hot, and then the offspring they put in cold, and the offspring still glowed, and they had never experienced hot. And that lasted for 14 generations. So it proves that like there's cellular like DNA memory. It doesn't alter your DNA, but there's some sort of memory encoded in your genes that lasts for generations. Now, also nematodes, you know, for 14 generations, that was only like 50 days for that to happen, you know, but still I thought it was really cool.
So would you say your parents weren't big huggers? Like when you go see them, you hug them?
I mean, yeah, when I see them, I mean, we're very affectionate, but
like how would you say your parents, like what have they passed, which love language did they give you, and is that also what you crave still? Like were they good at giving you affirmations?
I mean, I think they were pretty good at telling me if I was good or bad at something. Like I guess like we're very verbal. Like I'm a big talker anyway, so like anything verbal, that means a lot. But like little like I didn't want to keep picking gifts because I'm like, man, that makes me look like such a piece of shit.
Do you like gifts?
Of course.
That's okay.
Like, I mean,
everybody likes gifts.
I also like giving gifts because I like seeing people's reactions, which is also selfish. But then I'm like, what? Well, I don't want to be that one, but too late.
I take great pride in picking out perfect gifts.
Or like, making a great gift.
Gifts mean a lot to Tasha, and I've let her down in the past because I'm a kind of a late, last minute guy. Because I want, so like I'll procrastinate because I want the perfect thing, and it's like not necessarily there. And we travel for the holidays. I've made mistakes. I'm sorry, Tasha, but I always get her the gift. It's just whether or not like it's like, you know.
It's really.
Well, but it's the thought that counts, and that's the thing. Is like
that's true.
I want someone who's receiving a gift from me to feel like I really thought of them and put a lot of effort into it and like wanted to get them like the perfect thing.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the same thing you want to receive. Like when you receive a gift, you want to be like, oh, not just a gift card for Starbucks, you know, whatever. Like I want to feel like these people really know what I like, and well,
that's why like with jewelry too. It's like sometimes like someone will get you something. It's not that it's like ugly. It's like, oh, it's just so not me. Like, what were you thinking? Like, why would this be the thing?
So Allie's shallow. She's from Connecticut.
I'm shallow. I love gifts, and I'm a big talker.
Let's talk about your last big relationship, the one that like hurt you, right? Can you? I mean to pry, but like how long ago are we talking? Like, what was the last big thing? And let's dissect that with the love languages in mind.
The last big relationship I was in was like the long-term one. That was like 3 years. I don't know if
the guy was late for improv practice while you were lost in the parking lot.
Lost in like the woods. No,
did you guys know each other's love language? Like, did you know what he needed, and were you getting what you needed? Like, let's just talk about that.
I don't know how. I mean, I look at relationships now very differently. We were not as communicative as we needed to be. I think we were, by the end of it, we weren't spending enough time together to even like be focused on that.
And quality time is important to you. It's your second most important.
Quality time.
Quality time's your first.
Gifts.
Oh no, I wish it was, but no.
Here it is. First is quality time.
Oh yeah.
And if you're new listening to us, the love languages is basically ways that you receive love and give love. So like I love compliments. Leave us a podcast review, 5 stars. That's what I love. I love that. I love compliments. I don't need a gift, but you could join the Patreon. That's fine too. Patreon.com/SAP. But I don't need that. I need compliments.
Sure.
And Tasha, so I'll give Tasha compliments, and I think they just ricochet off her like I like shooting bullets at her, and she's like, bing,
and
bing.
I'm not big on giving because like compliments don't like make me happy. I'm not good at giving compliments.
So we've had big fights over the fact that I'll not get a quick. It's easy. It's free. I can't believe she doesn't know that. Like
but haven't I improved?
Yeah, you have. Yeah, absolutely.
Compliments are kind of hard to. I feel like women with compliments is weird with women too, because it's like you weirdly get compliments and they're like have hidden motives sometimes.
Yeah, but they're free.
But they're free. That's why they're so cheap. It's like that's a cheap. You could nice ass. People yell that down the streets. Like when someone loves you,
right?
Yeah, sure. But it's like of course it's a nice ass. I know that. You don't have to.
and your love well will not be filled by strangers so much as people close to you. That's why people close to you can hurt you so much. So when we talk love well, think of it like your savings account, folks. It's what fills up your. Get her some gifts.
But I do think that even like among friends, like sometimes a compliment is just a little frivolous. Like I totally have you ever been on stage bombed and then got off and someone's like, great set, and you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to. You could have just been like, well.
But that's why after a
better
set,
luck next time. You know, like I would rather have honesty than like fake compliments. So I think that's why.
Why are you assuming they're fake?
I'm not assuming
no, but
they're
if you're
fake,
bombing
but, like,
and someone says something to you and it's not, and you know it's
yeah,
not
but if I'm
real.
telling Tasha like I love your new outfit, and then literally
But compliments,
she goes,
yes,
I
are
look
great.
I look square. I look like SpongeBob.
This
The
one that
fuck?
I have on
Take
right
my-
now.
I look
It's like a
square.
flowy top tucked in.
Anyway, so I know we're bouncing all around.
I will say one thing. Someone yesterday said something really nice to me that someone I'm sort of seeing, and single is complicated, whatever. It just was like, and it just like, it was such a sweet comment. We were like walking to lunch and it was like the sweetest thing. And I was like, oh, he always compliments me a lot, and it's very nice. And he's been one of my best friends for a long time. So it just sort of like, it just like felt really great. And it was like, we're just so random. And it just like something like that, where it's like, we're not holding hands like over a candle at dinner. I'm like, yeah, that felt so organic.
Yeah,
It's so
surprise
nice.
someone. I mean,
That-
all the
yeah.
time I'll tell someone I'm proud of them, and it's not fake. I mean, I'll very specifically tell people how proud I am of them,
Yeah.
and it means so much to me.
It means so much to
be
them too,
proud of
probably.
my friends. And I had a comic recently tell me after I did a bit, he goes, "I'm going to see that on late night TV." And
Oh,
it's a
that's
guy I don't know
awesome,
that
yeah.
well, and it wasn't a post because then I saw him a week later. You doing that bit tonight?
Oh, that's awesome.
Fuck, man.
Yeah,
and I remember
that's-
that because I don't
You'll
get
never
that.
forget that.
I don't get that. And I'm not trying to be needy. That's just
No,
not.
that's not
so when
needy.
I don't give compliments. I don't give comics fake compliments. I'll be specific about what I like that they're
Yeah.
doing, because that's better than any criticism I can offer.
That's
You
true.
can criticize certain friends, but oh, you really turned on them. But you can be like, no. Channing, like our buddy Channing, that fucking Mexican accent you do is killer, man.
Mm-hmm.
He did it the moment I met him. He kills on stage. Like, you need to know how good that is,
Right.
because you on stage don't always get that perspective of like what makes
Yeah.
you unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's big. That's true.
And anyway, so your top one
Oh,
is
yeah.
quality time.
Yeah, so my ex and I did not, by the end of it, not spend very much time together. We did at the beginning. It was kind of the relationship it's a real whirlwand. It's a
Well, you're
real-
young and you're dating someone within your industry. It's very
It was a real
complicated.
ride. I mean, I don't know how much we want to get into it.
It's as far as you want to go.
Yeah. Okay, well, 3 months into our relationship, his dad died. He just dropped dead.
Jeez,
he
scary.
wasn't sick. Like, he just dropped. So that, and they, like, both our families live back east on the East Coast. Like, so it's just a lot of, like,
Last episode's podcast guest had a similar story where their boyfriend's sister was passing away during their relationship.
yeah, it's a really weird, like, and everything's relative. So, like, passing away is what, like, but we'd only been dating for 3 months, and he's a really closed off guy. Like, I mean, I think he's actually gotten a lot better at it since, is what I've, like, picked up on. Like, we didn't speak for a year after we broke up, and I'm not good like that. I'm like, let's check in, and not to be like, let's fuck, but to just
I met
catch
you
up.
as a part of that couple.
Oh,
but I never got to know him.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people that knew us. Like,
you were open to meet to like.
I'm not much of a shy person.
And he was not in that place.
Yeah.
And there's no blaming. That's
no,
just.
he's just not a super extrovert. He's really a pretty big introvert, like, all the time.
And wild that you had to be it's a tough position to be in, because you can feel bad for him, but also go, Jesus Christ, 3 months in and you're helping him like mourn his dad's. Oof.
But he kind of opened up after that 3 months, and then it just it was just a weird thing, because like he was dealing with so many interpersonal things and dealing with like such a big loss that I don't know. I think at some point, like, I kind of walked on eggshells and didn't want to like push too much, because I couldn't imagine what he was going through.
Well, what was the abrasion? What caused issues in your relationship?
Oh.
Was it the fact that you wanted this jovial kind of thing and he was closed off, so you weren't getting what you were so after, which is fine. Like, if you want to be like, fucking, let's go out, let's see things, let's get our energy from that, and this person's kind of like,
No, I don't wanna. Yeah,
just low energy.
Yeah, a lot of it was that. Like, a lot of, and like, I love staying in, ordering in food, and hanging with the dog. I don't need to go out and like do a million things, but like, I mean, you hear how fast I talk. Like, I'm busy. Like, I'm doing stuff. So not.
Yeah, we're gonna have to play this episode on slow motion.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you're
negative. So it was just like a weird thing where like every Sunday we would watch football, which like that's fun, but like all day long. And I was like, I get it, but like, and I know it sounds terrible. It's like, because I could watch a Law and Order SVU marathon all day long. But like, that's on my terms. Like, and he could always be like, well, you can leave. But like, I'm like, we're not, it's no longer quality time when we're both doing something that only you kind of.
You want to know that like he's taking your feelings and your priorities into consideration. And when like you're doing all the giving, like you're making concessions for him. He likes to watch football all day.
But we also mistake time for quality time. And I've made that mistake where, Tasha, come to my show in Brea. It's an hour drive. We'll do the show. We'll get ice cream after, and then it'll be a drive back. Quality time. Yet instead, it's not quality time. No. She doesn't give me a compliment after my set. We fight
in the ice cream shop.
In the ice cream shop. Our love well, I wanted that shit overflowing like some Arkansas River shit, and instead, bone dry, all in the matter of a night where I had a good set and my emotions are all over. Like, fuck this fucking bitch for not.
But like, if you had a good set and you're getting compliments from other people, why do you need it from me?
And let me say this real slow, and I'm going to turn my mic up a little bit.
Oh, God.
Because you're the one that I'm trying to impress, not fucking the drunk chick in the front row.
I'm always trying to impress the drunk chick.
So I'm saying that slowly because sure, you want the audience to want you. You do. You want the audience to want you, but also it's like I'm the dog bringing back the bone to you, and your response needs to be, oh, nice bone, but instead your response is, your feet are muddy, the floors, what are you doing? And it's like, I'm bringing the bone to you. So that's
the bone's in Brea, so I don't know. I feel like she had to drive all the way to Brea to get the fucking
absolutely.
bone.
and there's a myriad of examples very similar where we've had to learn. Because I've associated my career success with something I wanted to share with others.
Right.
And in some cases I can, but in other cases we need our relationship to be separate from like my personal drive. Because the amount of energy and love I put into my career, she doesn't get the reward.
Yeah.
There'll be days where she's proud of me, but
she wants you to be happy. That's the thing, like being happy and being proud of someone, or like there's something where like, especially like my ex does stand up. So the two of us kind of like I would see his frustration with not getting certain things. And then and I was pretty new to it at the time we started dating, and like just me getting things over him and things like that. And just like, and I would try to give him like we just got frustrated with it. He kind of is someone who, and I mean, I've learned this like through who his dad was and stuff like that. Like, kind of like would do the same thing. Like, he's a very loyal person, very.
But it sounds like it's hard for you guys to share happiness.
Well, he would like do something over and over and over again, and then be frustrated about it. Like he'd repeat himself over and over again, and then like would be upset with the outcome. I was like, well, you knew what was going to happen. You're defining insanity. You just like he would do.
You got to change your approach.
Yeah,
and he wasn't probably. And I don't mean to speak for him.
No, it's okay. I mean, he doesn't speak. No,
no, but it sounds just like your efforts were with good intentions, but he wasn't ready to be taking advice from maybe a younger, newer industry person.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No, but seriously.
Also, like, I mean, I just gave my 2 weeks at my job, and I did text him and was like, I figure you should know that like I left my job finally, the one I bitched about all the time. Like I had to learn but I was like, you're there for me to bitch to. This isn't about, and my job is a means to an end. It was not stand up. It's very different, I think.
So it's very tough.
But I was guilty too. I did stuff wrong. I mean, I'm not going to say.
Well, of course. We're going to get into that. Don't worry. I've got actually some emails people wrote in. I'm kidding.
God.
It's important to not, and again, we all have this issue, but Tasha sometimes will call me to be the phone call between going from one thing she's going to complain about to the next. Okay. And then I'm stuck in traffic with her on the phone. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm literally on the treadmill. Like, I'm running. And I'm like, but I don't want to be like, hey, I'm busy, because she'll be like, fine, bye. And then I don't feel good because I'm codependent and I want her to be happy. Yeah. So it's like we need to make conscious choices like when and where we express our emotions and not overbear our partner, because but I mean, don't get me wrong,
but that hits on what you were just talking about, like distinguishing quality time from just time. Because like you asking me to come to your shows, like of course I want to be supportive of your career, but like I wouldn't ask you to like come to my fitting, you know what I mean? Like it's just,
I also think in your mind that whole show idea, like I could see you like romanticizing that idea, being like, then we'll get ice cream. Like, in theory that all sounds like, if you like movie montage it, that sounds great. But you have to actually like sit in traffic, go like you don't get to see all the shit that happens in like the romantic
and you ask
version.
A lot of questions where you go, does she not care about me? Does she not want to see me?
An hour drive? I might not care about
No.
And then I go to shows, and I go to baseball games, and I do the podcast, and I support you while you're editing videos and being a psycho. Like, I'm here for it.
Wait, just in regards to the treadmill thing, I did have someone, the guy I'm sort of seeing out the other day, maybe like a month ago or something. I called him and he was like, hey. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm on the treadmill. I was like, why'd you answer the phone? And he was like, because it's you. And I was like, oh. I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. And I was like, like little things like that. I'm like,
now if it's hard,
you're
see
perfect.
this, another problem we have with our with where we are in life is that we're so accessible. So like a lot of times, sometimes I won't answer their phone, and Tasha goes, "What the fuck? Why didn't you answer the phone? I saw you doing this." And it's like, yeah, I saw you texting me and I forgot. Like I'm busy. Like you know what I mean? Like we're 5 years in, so I think we're past the petty stage of being like, why the fuck haven't I gotten it?
Because you wanna there's this book. I never want to quote this, but there's this one book that's like finding your ing or adding the ing back to your life. Gabby Bernstein, she's great.
Ing, ing.
Yeah, it was like it's a really cute concept. My favorite part of like her whole book, she basically was like, you have to make yourself happy before you before you get what you want. You can't it's not like when I get this job, when I get this car, I'll be happy. When I get this boyfriend, I'll be happy. It's like, no, you have to make yourself happy first. She's one of the first to kind of pitch this thing. It's a good concept. But one of my favorite things that she said was like, you have to treat your friendships like your relationships. And I was like, okay, but there's times where like, if I get a text from a guy I like, I'm not gonna ignore that. I'm thinking about that text the whole time. I'm not ignoring that. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna respond. If a friend texts me and I forget about it, it's like, oh, I'm not giving that person who probably likes me and loves me not in a just as much, right? So the idea is just leveling the playing field a little bit more for yourself, so that you're not as upset, and like then you kind of lower the stakes for. I mean, I think it's human nature just to like you get excited and your hormones rage and all that, but like trying to give your friends just as much of that love that you would attest to.
Because they're the ones that are there for you when the other thing goes sour.
Right.
Which, by the way, not to completely derail this topic, this might be the best 30-minute start we've ever had. Wow. I think we're off to the races. Would you agree, Tasha?
Yeah, we're doing
I'd like to pull back the curtain here and get a little third person, but I think it's going really well.
You mean fourth?
Fourth wall?
Fourth wall.
What did I say? Did I say third person?
You're doing great. Don't worry. Whatever. It's so not cringy. It doesn't even matter. I don't even care. It's so not cringy.
So we're working through your love languages. We've got the gifts thing. Now, were gifts okay in the relationship?
Yeah, gifts were. I love. Yeah, he did one really sweet gift, like a bracelet he got me broke, and it was like a big bummer just because it broke, and I felt so bad. So instead, he exchanged it and got me 5 things that we're very I carry a backpack a lot of times. So he got me a backpack. He got me I don't know, a new notebook because I love notebook. Just stuff that he knows I like, which was very cute. I love giving a gift that I know. I had a show at a comic book store and I got him 2 comics that he was like, okay, and I was like, why don't you love these?
Did it bother you that his response wasn't sort of as
I mean, in hindsight, because this is tricky. My friend. The person I'm kind of seeing now is also a comic, and he and I went to that show together. And I remember him saying wow, if you did that for me, I'd appreciate it so much.
Years earlier.
Yeah. And now kind of, so in my opinion, I was like, oh my God, see, I should be appreciated more, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, if I did that for that guy now, I'd probably be like, cool, thanks.
This is like a rom-com here. You were with the wrong guy, but this is what's beautiful about relationships and people that are dealing with breakups. It feels so, it feels so horrible to be heartbroken, but in hindsight, these are amazing scenarios where you're learning more about yourself.
Oh yeah.
You're learning what you don't want. But also he's doing the same thing. So he's growing as a person. We've interviewed
hugely.
We've interviewed people that really break up with someone that was really tough, and it's you're helping that person.
Yeah. And also you're helping. I mean, I love kind of seeing other people's relationships too, and not in a judgy way, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't think I could ever. Is that normal? I don't know. And even if it is normal for a lot of people, it's oh, well, that's something that I wouldn't do, but doesn't mean that. I just love seeing how other couples act. Which maybe it's creepy, but I'm into threesomes.
Well, you like to see if people work it out and what their challenges are, because you know that all relationships have challenges,
of course,
but not all relationships have the same challenges.
Right.
But regardless, when you see somebody and you know that they've got an issue, but you're seeing them work through it and the process of working through it, I find that encouraging.
Yes.
But we've also been guilty. Well, I'll say this. I think I've been pretty much really wanting to work on things. And I'm not saying that you haven't, Tasha, because we're here and we're.
Is this couples therapy that I'm
Absolutely.
coaching?
Every week.
34 minutes in, we a couple
you
drink
didn't
on,
know you're
drink on
secretly
couples
our-
therapy. Yeah, that's
Oh, well,
where-
you have called the wrong person because I am going to ruin your relationship. No, don't do
You're gonna
anything
leave me for
that
Tasha and her eyelashes.
Yeah, I know I might.
We had a photo shoot this morning. That's why she's got long eyelashes
they look
on.
great.
We woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Talk
Wow,
about
two
gratitude.
models. Good thing that it's only your
No.
voices.
I wasn't
Why?
in it. I wasn't in it. I
Oh.
was there fucking running her Instagram. I have had the best day today.
I appreciate you, babe.
4:38 last night stand-up show sucked. Didn't sleep well. 4:30 a.m. We had this shoot. We're at the beach by 7. Full hair and makeup and all that. And then Tasha passes out at whatever. And then I have to go to my baseball game. I'm 34. I'm playing a men's. And there was a new kid on the team. It's a good league, right? It's highly
like
competitive.
ex-pro.
I'm the only guy that hasn't played in
shit.
college. Like they're all fucking fantastic.
Oh, where do you
And
play?
It's they play all over LA, but we play south of here. We've had a few
I played
different.
softball for 9 years. I get it.
There
I
you
mean, I
go.
was terrible,
And
but I
you're
played.
straight. Wow.
I have that joke, so fuck you. It doesn't land. It usually doesn't land. People are like, that's offensive these days. I'm like, oh, sorry.
It'll land. It'll land in the right crowd.
Eventually,
These
yeah.
softball people.
I'm like, I'm barely straight. Maybe I don't know. Who knows? We'll
No,
do
I mean, there's a high percentage of softball players are lesbians.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe like cheerleaders.
I was that too.
There you go.
I don't know if any of them are gay.
They all probably made out and stuff, but they.
No, don't fantasize that
Yeah.
shit. Definitely not.
That didn't happen.
I'm being
No.
cringy. Sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'm at my
cringy.
game. I'm at my game on no sleep.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And there's this new guy named Declan.
Ooh, that's
Declan.
cringy.
Declan joins the team. He's
Ew.
18.
Oh.
So we get new
18.
ball players. We got guys in their 30s,
Wait, he's
40s.
18.
He's 18. But that's the thing. You can be, he's.
So he like
he's
just
leaving for
graduated,
college.
and
And-
he's like just playing to stay in shape
I go,
until
Declan,
school
I go,
starts.
Declan, how old are you? He's 18. I go, oh, fuck, man. And he goes to King. He goes to that high school in Silver Lake.
High school.
Yeah, he just
Wait, why
he's
is he
graduating.
playing with you guys?
It's a summer league for him, so he's training
Oh,
for the
okay.
college.
Okay,
so we
okay,
have guys
for
that
the
play that
college,
are like,
sure.
yeah, and he's going to Iowa. Good luck, Declan. Anyway, subscribe to the podcast.
Jesus
But I'm like projecting on this guy.
Is
and
he
then,
cute? You think
Oh,
you want to go out with me?
He looked like a young Liam Neeson. He was like tall. He was like, and he was a good ball player. And I'm looking
that's
at, and
hot.
I'm trying to talk to him. He's like not feeling it at
No,
all.
he's 18.
And
Yeah.
but I'm like asking him all these questions and all these things. And
Like, how
and
are chicks in high school, dude?
how the cheerleaders? They all kissing each other still. Oh, those dykes playing softball. He's like, I don't know you, sir. He
He's
called
like,
me sir.
Yeah, he's like, Dad. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
But that's when I'm 16 years. I'm almost double his age, right? But I'm looking at him like I'm playing this fucking game,
Yeah.
and I have to, and you age poorly for baseball because it's like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't play after 20.
No.
So every inning I go out there to throw, and I threw a complete game. We lost 2-0. But every inning I go out there to throw, I go, God damn it! I'm so fucking grateful right now. I'm kind of projecting onto Declan, but
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid's like, he's like, and Laz, our coach, he's like. Super rich. I go, Laz. We're sitting there. He's in his 40s. He's injured, right? And he's a baseball player, but he's just fucking injured and he's old. And and then we're just leaning on the thing, watching. We're in the dugout, looking at Declan. We're rolling. I go, Laz. What would you give up to be 18 like Declan? He goes. Everything. He goes, millions. And I go, I know, right? Because you can't get that age back, but you get wisdom. But anyway, I couldn't have been happier to both enjoy Tasha, what she does, go do some photo shoots and be a part of that creative process, and then go do my thing. I'm running on steam.
Yeah.
But it's like about doing things in life that just bring you happiness and knowing in the moment. Like I could be like bummed, oh, I lost. No, I played the best game I played in years. And
Oh, that's fun.
and it was fun.
Yeah.
And I left there.
Also,
like,
you weren't gonna leave and some like scout was gonna recruit you. Like the end of the day, you're still just playing baseball.
Yeah.
Playing. Like you
in
could
front of nobody, not one audience member.
Yeah, like a win in that, which is fine. Like that's fun. You should do that. That's like when you go bowling and you're like, I won. It's like doesn't matter if you. Who cares? Like it's still fun to achieve something. Like
it's like we're like in the end, it's like I'm competitive and that's why I like stand up too, because the true competition is with yourself. And it's what are you putting into yourself that's making you better? And we don't give ourselves a lot of credit when things go well, but I think we're very tough on ourselves when things go bad.
Oh, I read the greatest thing today. That was exactly that. Keep talking. I'll find it.
I did have a really good set a little while ago, and I was like, hey, you guys see how good I did? I definitely was like, and it was a set that I worked my ass off for. Like, I wanted to really, and I was like, hey, you guys see how fucking great I did? And I was
what,
like,
no one was giving you love?
No, they were. And I was like, I just want to make sure everyone still knew it. I don't care.
That's fine.
It was
That's
one of those things
totally
where
fine.
it was, and it was my friends who were like, all right. And I was like, I mean, you've heard me bitch about.
But they don't get to
how-
see the fucking shit you go through.
A lot of them are stand-ups. So that was very nice when they were like, no, that was great. You did great. And I was like, fuck yeah.
And it's,
you
but
want
there's something about.
They've seen me also do so bad so many times that they're like, wow, well, same person. It's crazy how you could just, I mean, they get it.
Are you really tough on yourself with like your career?
I used to be tougher on myself. In a way where it's like, I used to be, yes, I get very in like a hole, but I try to like, I think it's kind of social media based. Like I'm like, 100%. Look what everyone else is doing, blah, blah, blah. Like so I think as soon as I start getting off of that and I'm like, okay, what are you doing though? Blah, blah, blah. Like I tried doing a thing like last year where instead of, and this is like a little hacky, but instead of doing like what my goals are, like I tried looking back at the stuff I had done the past year. So like instead of like my 2019 resolutions, I was like, well, what did I do in 2018 that was different than the year before? And that was a good way to look at it. Anal was one of them, so that was exciting.
Anal?
Yeah.
Did we just? I thought I misheard, and I was gonna be like, am I cringing? You guys are saying anal?
No. I mean, that wasn't on my like list.
Was it on your like? That was on your
post
career
that on
goals?
Instagram.
Your LinkedIn career goals.
But like,
you could. That might go viral. You just make that your brand.
I know.
You're getting a lot of hearts on the live stream right now.
Oh, cool.
You need to click latest comments because it's been stuck on that for ages.
Oh God.
It's just okay. It's good. It's all right. No one's commenting.
Okay, but back to anal.
Yeah, no. But no, like a lot of stuff was like I got paid for comedy last year, like and stuff like like travel to different places. But like I just had a list of stuff that I like, did.
You got paid to tell jokes that you wrote on a stage in front of humans.
I got paid $500.
Congratulations!
Dang,
and I was like, people pay to not hear me talk usually.
Allie's joining the Patreon. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, I'd spent
I'm so
that
happy
so
for you.
fast.
Look,
Thank
I
you.
say it
exciting.
slowly because I don't want to glaze over the fact that when I get a check or a $10 cash spot from a comedy club, and I go, I wrote jokes.
Yeah.
I got paid. Other things happen in the process, but the people ate the dinner and they bought the drinks because we told jokes, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
And we forget about that when you're in grad school of comedy where you're doing new things and experimenting and having shit sets, and then all of a sudden you get a fat check and you go, this isn't just for tonight. This is for the nights where I drove 3 hours and had a shit set. And
and I was like, how did you guys hear about me? And the guy was like, I found you on YouTube. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, the internet is good sometimes. Like, so weird. And I was like, okay, I'll keep on the internet. Like, I don't know what you like.
And then he gave you $500 and then said butt stuff ? And
I was
then
like,
she did anal.
And I was like, maybe later. I was like, you've heard my set.
Congratulations on that.
I was like, on which part?
Both. Well, so like,
Truly,
was anal something you were like curious about? How does that even?
I think I was just like, well, I don't know. I didn't lose my virginity until I was like 19. I was like, I was very like very prude for a long time. And so I think like kind of figure out like my sexual prowess took a lot of time. And like being comfortable, like talking, like I'm like still probably gonna get red like talking about it. Like I definitely get very.
I love how you said you don't like quality, you don't like a physical touch, and then she does anal. I think.
Well, when I like it, I really like it.
I think that bumps up your my physical touch a little bit.
But is that like the most important thing on her list? Like if she's not getting like
she likes gifts, the
back
dick.
rubs every night.
Look, so what's
cringy
Davey? I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna push into that cringiness.
A little bit. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
What's the summarize the sort of vibe of was it everything you expected? I don't even know what to ask you right now.
I think it was I've done it again since. I think everyone should try if you want. I think you should try whatever you want to try. That's the thing. Like if you're like, I don't know. I don't know why it's something I was like, well, maybe I want to try it. I don't know. Like if you have any kind of inclination to try something and you feel comfortable with someone, always try it. And if you don't try it.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I've found the benefits of a cock ring. Just say it. I don't think I should be ashamed to talk about male sex toys. It's just we received hundreds of dollars, 500 actually, the same amount you got paid to do stand up.
It's from me.
We received you donated dildos.
Yeah.
We received Adam and Eve sent us boxes of dildos.
Do you guys still have it?
We have been giving them out at our stand up shows. So
I can see what I have in here.
I think there's at least one thing left on that box.
I mean, oh my God, this
There's
is a great
like
bench. They have a bench that lifts up, a storage bench. Very, very useful. I love apartment stuff. Sorry.
literally
I could like
every square inch.
I love
is
it.
thoughtfully
I love this. I love this
occupied.
place.
All
My
we have,
God.
don't you like? I just whipped them out. You see, I don't think you would like. And it's
You don't know what I
only
might like.
crushed because it's been crushed by the weight of other. But
Let
you
me
can
see.
have that if you want a fantasy flex. And this is a this is a
5-year warranty. I'll take it. I'll take it. What am I going to say? No. Pillow biting.
And then this is a fleshlight, so that's not for you. And you don't need a fleshlight
Oh
unless
my
you
God,
want
they
to
sent you a
like fuck one of your
fleshlight?
dildos. I don't know.
Yeah, what
I feel like the
it's like a
fleshlight, the dildo should stick in the fleshlight. It should be like a
How
remote
fun.
control holder.
You know, mine has been getting loud, to be honest.
Can I see what is it? What is the? Read us the.
Whoa, is
what
it 2 things? No, that's a
Oh,
side
it has
view.
the rabbit and the. Oh my God! If you give me 2 for 1, it's a gently curved tip for G-spot stimulation. 2 bullets for inner and outer. I'm blushing.
But it looks like a
Shaft-
pink cactus. What's the little cactus?
This
thing?
part's
That's
the
is that for the,
vibrating.
is that for the ass of the clit?
Babe, you ask
Oh
this
my
every
God.
time, and every time I explain to you, and I am
Aw.
not sure
Why would
if
you
you're
want
like saying it as a joke or if you're really serious, but it makes me upset every
Listen.
time.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what?
You guys aren't good with directions. I'm not
Who
good
gets
with
their
placement
butt
of the.
tickled like
yeah,
that? What
is that a thing?
Is
You
that
tell me. I don't know.
not
You're the
like
expert.
that? You no expert.
Is it because
Um,
we've got some? I mean, Tosh. I mean, the expensive ones fell off the truck. If you know what I mean, they went missing. Because we have some $100 ones and suck
Ooh.
different.
No, this is a really good one. I'm actually a little jealous of this one. We should ask him to send us another box.
Tasha's got
Are you
enough.
sure?
No. Please
You're
take
gonna
it.
take it.
I
We
mean,
we gave away.
Listen, I have a box.
Okay. All right.
We-
I have a box. I like. It's fun to have like a box of stuff.
Well, we've been giving a lot of them away at our stand-up show. We do a Mimosa stand-up show, which we'd love to have you on. We'll get a date for you. Would you love to do our stand-up show? I don't pay $500, but we do split donations from the audience.
Oh, I don't need money.
Okay.
I'm doing just fine financially. No, I would love to do
I'll
your
pay you in
show.
one dildo.
No, I would. That's literally this is probably the most money I could earn.
That-
Pure
that's-
happiness.
let me see it though. This isn't
Stop
one.
trying to touch this.
This isn't one of the nice ones though. Is my
No,
point.
it is
It's-
a nice one.
That looks
I don't know what
perfectly
you're
nice
talking
to
about.
me.
That's a really nice one.
It looks like it's got like a Phillips head screwdriver in that. What
No.
is that?
What?
because
like
it
that you
probably
can
goes
see
like
through.
Yeah, that's the part that- yeah,
Bendable shaft, 10 speeds. What? 2 speeds
Oh,
isn't enough.
I have only 3 on mine. 10. Give me that back.
Shaft made.
I gotta go.
Controls made. Uses 3 AAA batteries. That's the thing. The good ones have their batteries built in. Waterproof though. I'll say this.
Batteries
I
built
saw
in.
porn and they use the dildo
Yeah,
suction
some
cup.
of them have chargers that come with them. They're just like
Oh
rechargeable.
yeah,
you
but
plug them into the
I
wall.
lose the charger sometimes. Honestly, I have like a thing that like you put in and just like holds in place, and I lost the charger. So I was like,
So
well, this sucks.
the only thing they gave
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Wow. who
Don't ever
knew?
say you left with it.
No, empty-handed. I'm full.
Rate the podcast.
10
Leave a review.
stars. Patreon. You're sending dildos. Understood. I got it.
But like the
They only sent guys cock rings. That's what
the
you're gonna
cock
say.
ring came with a cock and it was a cock and balls ring, so it
Whoa,
kind of like
what?
held everything in because the veins, the blood comes in and out of the penis and it goes in through the center and then exits through the vein. So so this blocks the blood from exiting, creating a pretty hard dick. I mean, I really should be selling these things right now.
I
but
mean,
it's,
I'm in. What puts the balls in there?
yeah, it puts and it feels like
that-
you're choking.
Is
It's
that-
really
It's good.
well. We were having. I mean, this is getting really personal.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
we're-
Whoa, my mom.
Is
Listen,
the balls
Jeannie,
part
fast
good?
forward 15 seconds like Tasha did when I. It's it's just different, and it's not something that's
Alright.
used every time.
Sure.
But the point is that it's okay to have options in your
Yes.
life and not view sex as a did we do it or
yeah.
did we not.
Well, that's a checklist thing. Like that's me and my ex. Oh, sorry. Well, he lived next door to like a librarian who was like she was like a research librarian. So he's like we can't be loud, and I'm like. This isn't a library. I don't know what you're talking about.
Librarians
So,
probably are fucking kinky as
nah,
shit.
she was like real nice, real sweet. Like so, like he just like laid like every night, like or whenever we had sex, we like lay the blanket down on the ground and like have sex on the ground. And I was like, this
Why? Because
the
the
bed
bed
makes
was
the
noise.
bed
too
made make too much
squeaky?
noise. I was like, this is the infertility.
Got to get a
blanket.
Casper mattress,
Like
everybody.
this is like the word. It was like this, and it's so not sexual. It's not like you're making love or blah, whatever, and then you're like get on the floor. Like it was like lay down on the floor. Time for the blanket. It's like
Yeah.
whoa.
Tasha, don't you love how
So-
conflicted she was to tell that story? And she did anyway. Like at like 8 times in the same 10 seconds, you're like, I can't. Well, this guy, blanket
Well, I
boy.
just like it's just. I mean, it's a thing where it's like I've talked about that a little
Like,
bit. Not
just fix the bed. Just get a new bed
get a new
if it's squeaky.
But
So-
that's the thing where it's like, oh, we weren't like that was the thing where it's like that conversation wouldn't happen. Like getting a new bed. Like it's just weird shit. Like one time he like didn't like I knew his landlord and like he didn't. He like told his landlord one day like I drove across. Okay, we'll relate to this. The driving thing. I drove when he was home for like for something for his family. I drove on the west side, moved his car across the street, and like was gonna move his car and then drive all the way back in rush hour. And because he was street parking.
It didn't get lost.
No, I didn't get lost. I did not get lost. But I went to his apartment and he had told his landlord that his friend was coming over to move his car. And I was like, because they're not supposed to have like people spend the night. And I was like, I'm moving your car. You can say girlfriend. I was like, next time have your fucking friend do it. I was like, livid. I was like, are you your friend? We've been for 2.5 years at that point. And I was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, for people who don't know about Los Angeles traffic, if you're driving to the west side in rush hour, you're looking at minimum 3 hours in the car.
Yeah.
More than that, the time it takes to move his car.
I missed like open mics. And like I was happy to do it for him, but I was like, but to call me your friend?
But of course, I'm sure he could have defended it and been like, it was easier.
Yeah,
than
you don't want your landlord to think
wasn't
like,
like a
this
girl,
is the person that's spending the night, blah, blah, blah.
But it's like,
still.
but I was like, I also, when his dad passed away, like, I went to his house to get his clothes and like bring them to him. Like, there's stuff where it's like, come on, like.
I'm
just
sure
friends,
I'm sure if everything else was going well, that wouldn't have bothered you.
Maybe one thing that happened a lot though, and this is a reoccurring issue, was like I always was like, I feel like you're letting other people, like unfortunately you're hurting us by trying to make other people more comfortable. So by making his landlord feel more comfortable, he kind of made me feel uncomfortable.
That's so wise. And I relate to that guy. How many times have I've tried to make the situation just simpler and easier, and then I'm fucking up the next thing, like butterfly effect the next thing, where I'm like, I didn't do that because, and then, and it's like the dominoes of, and it's just like, we're trying to be agreeable and nice. And
or same with like little white lies too.
Yeah.
Like one time he didn't want to tell me that he like stuck around on the west side and was like hanging out and playing baseball with his friends, like just went to the batting cages or something. But it's like, why? Like
I didn't tell her, but she
I would
didn't
be
ask.
mad, but like it's like.
And she was.
But if you lie about that,
no,
what else?
I was furious about the lying.
She got so mad.
It.
Basically,
like, I
we
wouldn't care if you're just hanging out. You're already on that side of town and you want to hang out with your friends for a couple hours. Like, what do I care?
I was editing a project with my buddy, and then we had to export it, and it's like big project. Render it takes a couple hours, takes 90 minutes. We're like, fuck it, take lunch, go to the batting cage, and then days later, my buddy's girlfriend, we're all friends. My buddy's girlfriend, Sarah Ann, goes, "Oh yeah, they had so much fun at the cages." Tasha was so fucking mad at me.
Yeah, I get
and it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
for you, you're like, it's just easier to say.
I was like, I didn't want her to feel bad. I didn't want her to feel like I was
like,
avoiding.
Why do I
she, like,
care?
loves the batting
You're
cages?
rendering videos. Like, what do I care? You're doing stuff.
Because if you're,
I wasn't expecting you home.
Yeah.
You know?
Tasha, because if your love well's not full, and if you want quality time, which you love, quality time is very important
That's
to you.
number one.
You go then in the people listening. I'm sure some people can agree. It would be easy for you to go. You don't have time for me tonight, but you have time to go play baseball, and that's what I was trying to avoid, but I made it worse.
But I think that it's like, but I think that it's always just easier to lay out the facts to somebody. And like, who's going to, like, sure, I might have been mildly upset, but I'm not going to turn into like a raging bitch and be furious.
You're furious.
Well, I was furious because I found out the way I did, and I found out that you lied.
Yeah, that's
and I
not
think
good.
in hindsight, we can both understand I was wrong. And I think you've got, I don't want to speak for you, but I would hope that you have some compassion for how much I just want to make everyone happy. And that
but
can
that's
be
exactly
a curse.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Making everyone happy can sometimes hinder the person that the person whose love well you're trying to fix.
My mom gets so pissed
and also
because
yourself too. It hinders yourself because you don't learn like the ability to just spell it out. Like the way that we're just talking about is like sometimes like just tiptoeing around is not good for you.
No, it's not.
You
it's
have
not healthy
to have
for
the
anybody.
ability to maybe hurt someone's feelings, knowing that that's not your intention. But just like
that's not in everyone's DNA. Like my mom.
It's something that
my
should
mom
be
would get
learned.
mad at my stepdad because he's very charitable and he would like help somebody out. Like he'll help anybody out. And she's like, you need to.
Do you want to give him my phone number?
Yeah.
How much do you want to help me out?
He'll do anything, and it's like, and I get it, and I'm sure they've had that talk and talked about like he knows like he needs to help out her. She's the most important. But to him, it's like, I'm being a good guy. I'm helping everybody out. And so for me, it's like, it's not about helping people out so much as it's like, But
doesn't this go back to your whole compliment thing? Because other people giving you compliments doesn't matter nearly as much as you giving, like you're number one. That's what you were saying.
But also, I like when people do things for me.
Yeah, but it matters most when it's Tasha.
Right. But my point is like, I like to help so like, yeah, I don't want to help some stranger out. I mean, it's nice to like help someone do something, but like for me to help my friends, like I actually like, if I have a good friend and they're moving, like I want to help them out. I want to get pizza and beer after. I want to help my buddies out.
Yeah, because that's quality time. I think that's the same thing. Like we romanticize these things. Quality time's hard, I think, a lot of times because you're like sometimes quality time can happen when you're not planning it. So I think I don't know. I can still go back to the whole like you driving back and forth. Like I kind of get it. I'm like I could see why you thought that might be a nice night.
Yeah, and we're always up for like a fun adventure,
right?
But I feel like there's a difference between like a fun adventure where we're just going someplace to have fun versus fun adventure where I'm gonna go sit and watch a show that's gonna have 8 comics on it.
Look, you're absolutely right. I pick and choose. I pick and choose what I think's fun now. Yes. I go. I think I had a show in Santa Barbara. And the show ended up. I mean, I've headlined it. I went like 14th. And I went late, and the show was sure. horrible. But we had friends to see. It was like, okay, you want to come? Okay, we agreed it would be fun. We saw Tasha's friends. It was good. It was all fun. But what I wanted to get at is love languages. It's not just about what you receive, and it's not just about what you give. It's about how the other person reacts to what you give.
Yes.
And for me, there's a lot of bitterness attached to helping people and not feeling the love. There's an exchange of everything, right? So like, I want to help people, but I also want them to feel happy and grateful for my help.
Yes.
So I'll offer
because
help.
Otherwise, why would you? I mean, truly, it's not a selfish thing. We want to feel there.
Everything we do, I want to bring Tasha flowers, so she goes, oh, thank you.
Of course.
That's it. I don't need a fucking thing. Oh my gosh, you're the best. Boom, done. I don't need Instagram photos. My boyfriend's the best. That doesn't. Okay.
Right.
But like,
you want to make her feel good, and she makes you feel good because she's gonna say something back. It's an exchange. You're totally right.
And it sounds lousy. You go, well, if I did something for someone and they didn't respond, fuck them. But it's like there's bitterness. So when you
I agree with that.
Do something for your boyfriend at the time, and he doesn't react as happy.
Or he like
gift of the comic books,
right?
And it's just not his thing or expressive to show you. You go, well, I'm not gonna forget that one. And it's not a vindictive,
but he would do
crazy
little
thing.
things where it was like so sweet, and I was like, but there was little things where I also have to say I think he's grown like tremendously we have caught up more recently, and like really I think has grown like leaps and bounds. So I'm very happy for him. Like I think he's truly like, I mean, I don't think he's like an extrovert by any means, but I do think that he's actually actively trying to to just get
and everyone goes through seasons of their life, and like life is about learning and growing. So sometimes I believe that everyone you meet, boyfriends, friendships, family, whatever, they're all there to challenge you and like teach you something new about yourself.
Like I think we had some issues, a few things like we did not live together. We still honestly still don't. Now we live together, but like. I was like, I used to wake up like really early to go to work at the gym I managed. So I'd be like, hey, like I'll sleep overnight and then I'll wake up at 5 and I'll go home. And he's like, I don't want you doing that. And I was like, but I want to see you at night. So like little things like that where I was like, okay.
And he didn't want to hassle you.
Yeah, he was like, no, but I don't want you to. And I was like, but then we're not going to spend any time. Like,
and you lived across town from each other.
And it's just like that kind of stuff kept. And I was like, why would I not bother? So that kind of stuff kept adding up. And I was like, you don't understand. This is stuff I want to do. I want to wake up at 5, even if that bothers you. Like, so little things like that kind of kept.
It was almost like a guilt. It sounds like he had like a guilt for you wanting to spend time with him.
Well, by the end of it, like we really weren't spending time together, and like. I mean, I was like, let's like talk about living together. Like that really never happened.
Okay, so talk about that. So talk about the choice, the thought of living together to sort of help the relationship.
Yeah, I thought it would help.
It was over.
I thought it would maybe help.
Crosstown is like such a challenge.
It's just harder. It's just harder than like. And I mean,
it requires
but it
a ton of effort.
It doesn't have to be. Like reality is like we could. By the end, we actually did discuss like I think like 2 weeks before I ended like. Oh yeah, I ended. Hi. I make my own decisions.
By the way, keep talking. I'm gonna get out the. I have the little cards I want to give her. I want to the superlatives for your love language because they're right behind her, and I'm looking at them.
But why right now?
All right. Because I'm doing it.
You interrupted the flow.
Oh God.
Please continue. No, my apologies.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, look at. Hi. No, I did kind of forget what I was saying though.
So you were saying right before you guys broke up, you were talking about
hanging out more. Like we got in this fight at dinner, and he was like, and I like I drank a lot by like the end of our relationship, like in a way where I was like, ugh, I just not in like a, but like I like to have a glass of wine before I go to bed, and like he kind of would like hold it against me here and there. And like we couldn't, I was like, well, could we like smoke maybe like that? I could fall asleep that way because I'm not a great sleeper. And he was like, well, I don't want to smoke in my apartment. Like, so it was just like a lot of weird rules that just like didn't make my life easier, you know?
Yeah.
Basically what happened was like, we were not, No.
That's yours.
No.
Sorry, keep going.
I don't want it.
For the YouTube only.
For the YouTube. Well, I mean, hey.
She's holding a sign that says, give me gifts.
Give me gifts. I mean, if you're going to, make them good. Don't give me shitty gifts. That's like the worst. Basically, like we had some. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Like all of his family was getting married and like everyone's getting married, like every single person. His sister got engaged to the guy that she was dating for a year, a week after I broke up with him. So like I would have been in the wedding. Like there was a lot of things where it was like everyone was fast tracking to get married. So it was a little hard when I like wanted to be around him. And I was like, maybe I want that too. I don't know. But it seemed like it was the natural progression, and he was so not.
Yeah, when you're in a relationship for that long, it's like it has to keep taking steps. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? Just wasting each other's time.
Yeah, it sort of felt like I was like, what are we doing?
So at what point did it plateau? At what point were you like, are we just wasting each other's time? And was that a conversation that ended it right away? Or did you
have that conversation, or were you just
it was
thinking it with yourself?
I think I thought it myself for like a year before I did it.
I mean, it takes time. It's a big decision.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're in a committed relationship.
A year? Is when you thought for a whole year that you were like.
I don't think I thought for a whole year, but I think the beginning.
But you go back and forth and you talk to your girlfriends about it. Like,
and then they stop listening because they're like, why don't you make a decision already? Like,
yeah.
Is that what happened where your girlfriends are like, we know what your answer is and you need to shit or get off the pot? Was it that type of deal?
I had that a lot. And then I was like.
That's kind of good friends, I think.
Yeah. I mean, blunt. For sure, blunt friends. And they know now I'm like, knock it off.
What could you, do you overanalyze? Do you just want to like talk it out?
No. I didn't think I did until more recently where like the guy I'm kind of seeing is like analyzes everything to the point where I'm like, I didn't realize I was so under. I wasn't analyzing anything.
If he needs to analyze, tell him to call me. I love listening to people analyze.
It's really good. He's really good at it. And I'm like, and it's funny because I'm like we'll like have an argument and I'm like, wait, that's not right. But he analyzes things in a way where he'll like the other day he got mad at me about something and then like called me back like 2 hours later and was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to react that way. I was thinking about it the whole time while I was at work. It's not how I meant to react. And I was like,
how brave.
I was like, who does this?
Look, if you can apologize.
An adult, a nice, well-rounded person who's done a lot of self-work.
It depends how popular this podcast is because I can't tell you too much more about it.
Does he have a popular podcast?
No. Does he have a podcast? No, I don't want to say anything.
I was like, you're coming on our podcast. He's got the popular podcast. Get him on over here.
No. I don't know.
It's all right. You don't have to get into the nitty gritty. Are you attracted to comics, or is it just like they're the ones that you see? So that's like
that's like my big joke. Is that like I thought I had? Yeah. Like yes, I am attracted to sort of. I'm attracted to most people.
A chuckle fucker.
That's a stupid they're point. Fucking me.
Hey. Yeah, he's a chuckle fucker.
Yeah,
maybe, not you. It's not a gender issue. A man can be a chuckle fucker.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I kind of want to tell you guys. Well, I don't know how many people listen to this.
We have a couple thousand. Yeah, we're doing. We just had our biggest downloaded week of all time this week.
They might hate me if I say the next thing.
Wait, what are you gonna say?
I don't know.
You don't have to say names.
No, okay. It's about the guy.
Is the
sex?
Is it about the? Is it? Are you being critical of the sex? What
no.
Do you give us a thing, and we'll tell you if it's worth mentioning.
Yes, talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes, talk.
Okay, well, he's conflicted. By the way, they could hear that.
Oh, they could.
Well, I'm sure they could. Everyone just rewound. Everyone just rewound, and they're reading your lips.
They're turning it up all the way.
Yeah.
Look, life's complicated.
Yeah.
So I don't think. What? How do you feel about that?
That's very complicated.
It is complicated. When it first started, he was kind of like he was like, I thought my relationship was over, and like we've been best friends for such a long time, like so platonically best friends. And it's gone back and forth. They live together. It's like
wow. And by the way, I do want.
This is the breakup podcast.
I waited till an hour in. Words of affirmation. Look at this one, Natasha. Questioning monogamy right on the back. Questioning monogamy. That's good. We never play with these. Anyway, we got the little things out. Go on the YouTube. Look, the people who listen all over the world, and they are not LA comedians. I'm just letting you know.
No, that's what
they are not in the LA
they might
comedy
just be judgy
scene.
people. No, they're not judgy, but they might just be like, which I judge myself a lot for it too.
It's just a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like.
So you're just his Netflix and fuck. That's all you are.
Oh, I'm the one with the Netflix account.
You twist everything around on me.
I'm just his Netflix.
Good softball player here. She just takes it and she hits it back to me.
Yeah. It's just a very weird situation to be in. I think their relationship. I mean, I don't want to. For a while,
are you rooting for them to fail?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want them.
Asking him?
But also, like, okay,
but on their own terms.
How long have you guys been going on?
6 months.
I mean, at this
Tasha,
point,
is this sexy to you?
I listen.
As a third party here, because I think it's great. I love tales of adultery. I would
Sexy,
die a slow
I'm not
death
sure
if
is
this
the
happened to me.
word that I'm tuned in with.
It's sexy. They gotta sneak around and go incognito. He wears a mustache when they hang out. I don't know.
I wear the mustache.
Well, I read this thing that was on like, I don't know, Huffington Post. It was one of those like articles people write themselves and send them in. But it was a girl talking about how she met like the love of her life.
Yeah.
They were both married to other people.
Yeah.
And they just had this moment. They had known each other for like maybe like 8 years or something, but they hadn't really like gotten to know each other. But they would like work at this festival that happened once a year in the summertime, and they both it's sort of like a Burning Man type festival where like everyone's kind of doing like contributing somehow in the community, and they were both cooks, and she was cooking breakfast and he was cooking lunch, but he would always be like out there with his cup of coffee in the morning while she was like chopping the morning potatoes. And so they like got to know each other a little bit over the course of a couple years, but then like year 8 they like had a moment in the kitchen, and it was so intense that they both went home and left their other person and got together, and their life, you know, she says like, this was my person. Yeah. You know, like this is the person that was meant for me. And it took a long time to find this person.
I mean, I hope he goes home and ends it. I have a lot of fears about it, because I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work out with us? And then I don't want him to resent me. And I also.
Does he worry that you're going to like spill the beans if he like.
No, I don't think.
What about like do you get to call him and text him at night? Or
are you saved in each other's phones as like Gary Johnson?
No, it's like like he'll spend the night sometimes. Like I don't.
And he lives with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
That's very strange.
Yeah, I've asked these questions.
What if they're just open?
I don't think they're just.
Would you be okay if they were open?
I mean,
would it be like
she
easier?
Would be okay with it.
But have you asked him if
we got her on the podcast?
You?
Rebecca, come on in.
She does. I'm like Rebecca.
Did I guess the name?
No,
you
didn't.
Becky's the account.
Yeah, right. I don't think so. I think I ask a couple questions just to kind of get my feelers of where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I am someone who I've realized I don't like to ask upsetting questions to people if I'm not going to necessarily love the answer.
Yeah.
I want to have my cake and eat it too. I don't want to be like.
You don't want to ask a question that.
But you clearly like this guy. You've talked about him as like, he does this and he's.
Oh no, like it's like I'm very. I mean, I think he.
But
knows
also,
that,
if he value, I don't know. It's like it's still cheating. It's still cheating.
Yeah.
Not on you.
No,
on him.
No, but I'm not helping the situation.
It's a lesser offense, but it's not. You don't get to walk scot free. Scot free or scot free?
Scott.
Yeah. You don't get to walk scot-free, but he gets charged with adultery, and you are complicit.
But here's the thing: is like if he wanted to make this easier on both of you, all he has to do is pick one.
Yeah,
you know that's why I feel like it's on him, because he could. You guys would have never cheated in the first place if he just had the balls to leave a relationship that wasn't working.
And we've kind of talked about like, I agree with that. I mean, we've talked about like, you know, a lot of it's financial, like him not feeling like he's financially able to leave, and I'm like, okay, well then you have to, and that's the thing my mom always told me, like
because they share an apartment.
Yeah, she's like, never ever be financially dependent on a man, and I'm like, I mean that's coming from
great advice. Your mom said that?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, she was like, early on, she was like married when she was like 19, and like in like the early the 60s.
We as humans we manipulate.
Women couldn't even have their own checking account without
like,
their husband's permission
until
like the 70s.
Because bitches be shopping.
Well, that's fair.
Words of affirmation. Someone's got you got the gifts. Chefs, bitches be shopping. Give me gifts.
I don't know. I think it's not a good situation. We've talked about it before where I'm like, we got in one argument though where we were like,
but also like
we got in a fight, and I was like, and he was like, well, you did and we were going back and forth, and I was like, well, there's one thing that's always going to be the biggest issue that this is all these arguments are stemming from, that you haven't decided that you haven't made me the choice yet. And he was like, okay. And he like got it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Then
he gets
then,
the
but
fact
he
that
got it and then did nothing.
But it's only been 6 months. I mean, it's like it might take Allie going out to like go on tour, like go to a comedy show and take a photo next to some cute audience member for him to be like,
well, it
I
might
feel
take
weird
her
about this.
like completely leaning back. Like, listen, I'm not gonna let you continue to string me along while you don't make moves because you can't afford to get your own apartment. Like, that seems like a lousy excuse to me. That seems like a step it up excuse. And if you let someone treat you like that in the beginning, that's just a precursor of what's coming.
But here's what the question that would freak me out the most.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna jump forward a year. You come back on the podcast next year.
Mm-hmm.
You're dating.
Mm-hmm.
He left his girlfriend for you.
Yeah.
What kind of trust issues do you have with him cheating on you? Like, how do you?
Well, she's not gonna let him sleep
Over.
out.
Yeah, that was. I said
questions.
that to him. I was like, well, if and when we ever date, you're never sleeping out. That's the weirdest thing. That's okay. I think that's super weird. I mean, one time he's from like not that far away, so like part of him was like, I might have to move home like if we break up, and I was like, fuck, what? I'd rather have you here. It's a really weird thing because I don't feel like the other woman. I've been the other woman before.
Money cannot be this deciding
But I've been
factor.
the other woman before where it's like, don't text me this time of night, don't do this. Like, I get it, which I'm not proud of this, but whatever. You live and you learn. This doesn't feel like that at all, to the point where it's like, I do like, and he's like, he'll tell me like, yeah, when I like, if I take a lift to your place, like, and they're like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to my girlfriend's. Like, it's very, but it's not. I know it's.
I don't think that like can't afford to get an apartment or can't afford to move out is an excuse, because like there's roommate situations everywhere. It might not be ideal, but it seems like sort of a crutch for like why it's like an excuse for why he can't leave his girlfriend. Because like you can get a room for $900.
Well, that's how like my ex was like, I don't want to live in an apartment that your dad pays for, me. And I allowed that forever. And then eventually my current roommate was kind of like, yeah, but that's your situation and he should fucking enjoy it. Like, he knows you, he's like, that's your situation right now. Why wouldn't he just, then you split it and it's not going to be like, yes, it's respectable, it's admirable, but it's also like, but it is an excuse. So I think I'm willing to like bend. And yeah, how far will I bend until I'm like, this is it. We've tried just going back to being friends too, by the way. Like when he just like went away for a little bit and then came back and I was like, maybe not. And then just.
How did you cross the line from friends? How did it go from, oh fuck? At what moment are you like, there isn't any going back? And did you resist it for a while?
I mean, we've been friends for years.
But was there like sexual tension as friends?
Yeah,
You were like, oh,
there was
fuck.
sexual tension. Like, I think everyone was like, I think you like, he's like in love with you. And like, I told him that and he was like, well. And that's the thing too, where I always kind of thought like, oh, he'd break up with her for me in a minute. And I'm like, piece of shit. Like, I'm like, really?
But you're letting him.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Tasha.
No, it's true. It's true. No, every person every
Get him on
woman
the phone.
I talk to.
Let's go.
It's gonna be like,
Are you dating other guys too?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
And how does he feel about that?
He gets really jealous.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's not fair.
which is, but also,
he can cheat on his girlfriend and still be jealous because it's like they're separate feelings. Like,
yeah,
but he could fix it too.
Yeah.
Just because
it doesn't mean that like your feelings are valid. Feelings are feelings, and you're gonna feel them no matter what.
Right.
But like also like let's be sensible here.
I try to be like, I've been seeing a guy like a lot for a while. He cannot listen to this podcast because this would fuck with him so bad. He's a really good guy. He's moving to New York in June. He's like a really end of June. He's a really, really good guy. Really nice guy. Like his dad. No, his dad's in the jewelry business, so it's like, I know.
Can we get his number?
We're shopping. Give us some carrots.
Bitches be shopping. He's like very cute, really like independent, like success. Like, he's a really good guy. And we have, like, I think if he stayed here, we might end up dating, which would be, but it's something like I met him on Hinge. Like, I was like, I'm actively gonna try and like date other people though, because I don't necessarily know how soon the guy I'm also seeing.
You don't want to put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah. We I talk about I read somewhere else and now really like this idea of like having a man funnel. Like, until you're committed, you're not committed.
Yeah.
Until
Man
you're
funnel?
like until you're in a monogamous relationship, you choose this person and they choose you, and you are boyfriend and girlfriend, and you're dating and you're taking steps toward a future. If you're just date. You should be dating around.
Yeah.
You should be dating more than one person.
See who you like.
Lock
See what you like.
down if you're not officially in a committed relationship.
And it'll keep you from like getting too clingy and jealous.
Yes.
Well, and then it also prevents you from
Huge.
accepting things that are not up to par, that you shouldn't be accepting. You shouldn't be putting up with somebody who's like stringing you along and like not willing to leave his girlfriend if he's as into you as he says he's into you.
Right.
You wouldn't be allowing him to make those excuses because you got 4 other guys that want to take you out to dinner tonight.
This is making me look like you're kind of such a better boyfriend.
No, and like I do have guys. That's the thing too, where it's like I do have these other, and that's why I want to keep these other guys around to be like, yeah, I know I have options. I know I'm desirable. I know this is not my only option, because you do get in that headspace where you're like, is this it?
One of those guys might really surprise you. You might have amazing chemistry. You know, sometimes it's like slow. Like not every relationship or dating situation starts out with like passionate fire.
Right.
You know,
right.
Some things are a slow build, and like you go on a couple dates and you're not sure, but like wow, you really come around to this person, and like there's a lot there.
Yeah.
It's because you also have to like, sometimes people go, I didn't think I liked him at first. Well, sometimes you just project where you think someone's going to be. And then they go, fuck, we had a fucking awesome night together. Like that was, it's let life take you by surprise. You know, sometimes I think I can read people good, but then I'm always proving myself wrong.
I agree. I get
that person was way better than I thought.
Well, people can be different. I mean, I think it's weird.
But it's important to know that you can reassess things. And go
people
like,
can change, and you can change, and how your interactions change. And
some guy was annoying to me last night, and it was really annoying. I just had a set that I wasn't happy with, and he was like asking me questions about my set. And it was annoying me. And then I saw his Instagram this morning, and it annoyed me even more. And I was looking at him like, fuck this guy. What a fucking asshole. Maybe 3 hours later, I sent him a message and said, hey, man, nice to meet you. Sorry if I was an asshole to you last night. Because I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude's just doing the best he can.
Because it was just your own issues that you were like
wrapped up in.
Well, he annoyed me as an audience member, and then I found out he was a comic. And I was like, oh. Because now it went from being an audience member to just wanting to shoot the shit with another comic, and I didn't give him that chance. And we should all give each other chances until they shoot the shit as peers.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the point is, whether it's a significant other, a friend, or family, because with this podcast so much, we've just drifted away from. It's not just about our lover or this or that. It's about how we deal with our family.
Yeah.
My stepdad will ask me stupid questions about the Red Sox. Like he once thought I was in a sorority. He like doesn't, I was in a fraternity, and he goes, how's the sorority? And I go, look, I would get so mad, and I'm like, I'm mad at a stepdad who didn't have to be my dad. And he just wants to know how my sorority is.
Connect with you.
I love that. He's like, you're like, it's great. The girls are great.
But that's just like how I'll try to hug Tasha, and she'll be like, I can't be hugged. Like I couldn't be bothered by certain things would annoy me. Like, my dad.
But there's stuff like, I always try to like, one of my therapists, she was always like, I don't know the exact expression, but it's like basically like you don't know what someone's just gone through or what someone's about to go through, and vice versa. So like leave your shit at the door, because like you don't, like that guy who bothered you, like maybe from his perspective, he might be like, why was Dave such a dick to me?
Yeah.
And then, but it's good for you to be like, maybe I was a dick to him. I don't want to be that
way.
And
he's going to leave the whole fucking thing being like, that guy was a dick. And I don't care for street cred. I just go, that's not the version of me that I am. Right. You just saw me after a bad set, and I had to wake up in 3 hours, and you're asking me a question about a set that didn't go well.
But you have
well,
to
buddy,
also,
it didn't go well because the fucking lady was chatting. I skipped over the premise, and you didn't get it, okay?
You just did punchlines.
Just punchlines.
It's like, oh, well,
and then she said no.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, boo. But I understand, like, there's something about it where you kind of like you accept people being assholes like a little bit more, because you're like, well, maybe they went through something. But also vice versa, I try to like, if something shitty happens, I try to just drop it and keep moving on. So when someone is an asshole to me, I'm like, wow, if I'm able to drop it and just be nice and you're not, well, fuck you.
Look, I don't
even like a road rage situation.
Yeah.
Or like the person that's like walking slow in front of you at the grocery. It's like,
but Tasha,
just live their lives.
You're gonna let some stranger decide whether or not you like fuck up your day?
No, absolutely not.
You got to know me to fuck up my day.
I'm talking about exactly the opposite. Is like, you don't know what you just said. Yeah. You don't know what other people are going through, and everybody's just living their life. Everybody's just trying not to be late for work. Everybody has shit up to here that they have to deal with, whether it's bills or whatever it is. Like, everybody's going through their own thing. These people are not extras in our lives. Right. Everybody's living their own life,
and they're trying the best they can.
As ours.
That's a really good one. And everyone's not extras in your own life. Ooh.
I thought she was going to say that was a good one from my thing, and I got mad that she was saying that.
You're great, Dave. Compliments, Dave. You're great.
Look, the world needs more empathy.
Yeah.
And it's scary because every side thinks they're right. I empathize with pro-life people. I empathize with pro-choice people.
I don't want to talk
Listen,
about
Tasha,
this again.
we don't need to go any farther, but you need to empathize
I
with
can talk about it.
Okay.
I love talking about it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I love talking about this shit because I just had a fun pregnancy scare. Literally,
that would have made things complicated.
He joked about that yesterday. He was like, "Can I get your Wi-Fi password?" I was like, "Oh, I mean, it's only been 6 months. I guess you can get it." He's like, "I mean, don't you have my baby inside of you?" I was like, "All right." I was like, "Would you leave for that?" No, I'm just kidding.
So, if you want to talk, the floor is yours.
Pro-life, pro-choice.
No, just your own experiences that define how you feel about it all.
I have never had an abortion. I've actually never really had. I mean, a pregnancy scare. Like I peed on a stick a couple times. Was
it a pregnancy test or was this just a homeopathic?
I'm kidding. I'm
so cringy.
Yeah, I peed on a popsicle stick.
I was camping.
I'm like, what is it? All right, I don't want to lick this thing.
They're like, was it 2 lines or 1?
Yeah.
It's actually a riddle.
Yeah.
If you get the riddle,
That'd
you're not
fun. That'd be a lot more.
I'm telling you, we're getting some good ideas. Can we get a riddle pregnancy test?
Riddle. It'd be more fun. I mean, literally, wait, can I show you? I
Snapple
got
facts?
one. I peed on the stick. It had a question mark. I got a thank you. I literally was like,
what is it, Batman?
I sent it to everyone I know. I was like, what the? I'm going to try using this in my jokes. So, because it's like, I literally waited for 3 minutes and then just had a question mark. And I was like, that wasn't one of the 2 options.
You're like, turn it upside down.
Yeah, I was like, magic 8 ball? Like, what do you mean?
Spanish? What is this?
It was so insane. So I was like,
I did not know that was an option.
It's not supposed to be. Someone was
they
like,
just fucked with you. There was like the one question mark. We're going to fuck with them.
Should I post it on social media? And I was like, I don't like the likes.
I hope you saved the photo.
Oh, of course I did. But
Can we make it the cover photo for this show?
Oh, well, maybe. Like, it's so good. But I was like, the likes that would get or something like definitely doesn't like I don't want to hear my aunt's comments about
you have
it.
but first of all, I want to hear the rest of the story, but you've got like a solid merch idea here. If you make a joke about this, you got like t-shirts with the strip that said question mark and like bitches be choosing, I don't know, pro-choice, whatever.
Bitches be choosing. Bitches be choosing bitches or not, whatever you want.
Yeah.
So what? So that's not a good sign.
No, I'm not pregnant. I am. I'm a period.
But it makes you.
oh yeah.
Hey, we're ovulating. Is that a term?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's. I also did kind of. I had sex. Sex can like start your. And I was like pretty late, so I was like, we have to have sex so I can get my period, and that worked.
Does sex start periods?
Sometimes.
I heard that a good sex will delay a period. Like I've heard this. Actually, Tasha, you told me this. That if you have a good orgasm, your period might come late because it's your body saying, "Oh, let's get these semens." Oh, look at this.
Oh,
I did not tell you
that,
like this? But
I think really you told me that.
Curious where you're. No, I think that my point was that that sex can disrupt your cycle a little bit. Like it can throw it off. Whether that means come early, like I'm late, maybe this will help.
I took it as that way, as it's your body saying, before we do this funny business, let's see what's in the chambers. Because if your body's having sex, I'm not trying to mansplain your ovulations.
Whoa, no one's accusing
someone who's
you
an
of
expert
it.
out there is like these idiots.
Yeah.
Someone's like,
all I'm saying is you come in these bras, they don't period anymore. Forget about it. Cringy.
I do love it. I never think someone's mansplaining. I just think people are idiots. No,
I'm human-splaining. I'm me. And I'm just curious
haven't
about
had anyone.
it.
I don't know. People, the mansplaining thing. I don't know.
But what would you have done?
What would I?
What did you decide what you were gonna do? Question mark?
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm not. No.
You would have.
No. I mean, I don't. That's the whole thing too, where it's like, I have plenty of friends I have a friend, and they're all pro-choice, but like one of her friends got pregnant and she kept it. And I think it also is a thing that happens like, when it happens to you. That's when you decide.
We have a listener.
Pro-choice. Can I interrupt and talk about your dad?
Please.
We had this conversation
Love
with
this
his
guy.
dad,
He's so
and
sweet.
Boy, he was just so underinformed.
But
just
conservative
no clue
radio for 50 years.
Well, but that's the problem because you should, if you
can change the radio
you should have an informed opinion.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's all like super liberal now.
Just plain opinion is useless. Like have an informed opinion,
and you should know the other side of it so that you can have a conversation.
Well, you should just know plain facts.
You don't know what you
that
don't
your
know.
Tax dollars aren't funding people's abortions. You should know that.
Yeah.
You should know that Planned Parenthood offers cervical cancer screenings.
Right.
You should know
But
that.
what I'm asking you,
But point is that he kept saying pro-abortion, and pro-life instead of pro-choice and pro-life. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people need to distinguish is, like you said, your friends are pro-choice, but they decided to keep it.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line, is that people should be allowed to make their own decisions with their family, with themselves, with their pastor, with their doctor.
Yeah.
It should be up to the individual to decide what they want to do, not the government. Why should the government be regulating this? Pro-choice means you get to make the choice. And maybe that means you keep it.
Yeah.
Listen,
and maybe
it's
that
your
means you
choice.
I'm
didn't.
not trying to say that I'm too smart for this conversation. I just know when I know when Tasha and I are fighting and we're arguing different things. I'm going, but I love you, and she's going, but you lie. And we're the pro-choice folks are arguing something, and the pro-life people are arguing something else.
Yeah, I agree.
So this same language we're speaking English is moot.
Yeah.
And we've got a friend, Nikki, running for Congress
really?
in Medford, Massachusetts.
Oh,
I could be wrong about that, but if we have any listeners in Medford, Massachusetts, vote for Nikki.
That's awesome.
Nikki's an old friend of mine. She listens to the podcast. Very political. Very.
I love politics. I want to follow Nikki. I'll vote for Nikki.
She
I'll
just decided she wanted to do service because she was
tired of just seeing it.
Yeah,
nothing get done.
Exactly. And
Nikki.
She told me,
Mickey.
and she get Nikki, and she'll text me, and I'll just take it as anger, like I said something wrong. But she was like, you got to read this book called it's to think like an elephant. I'm probably fucking it up. I just bought it. I got it in the other room. Should I go get it?
No.
Anyway, the point is that people frame arguments in certain ways, and the pro-life people have framed this argument that it's pro-life versus pro-choice.
Right.
And by kind of jockeying to be pro-life, they make the other side anti-life.
Right. Well, of course.
So pro-life thinks
they're
that
arguing
everyone is anti-life, and we have family. And anyway, I don't want to harp on it, but it is an interesting thing to say. Listen. Be open to other opinions. Get your news from a well-rounded source. I watch Fox News. I watch CNN. I think they're both crazy. They're coming up with a new app that's going to upvote and downvote like user-rated content, so we can at least begin to see which journalists. Like we're going to move to a society where we follow journalists. And that's where we need to be. I follow podcasters who I trust their opinion, that they're not bought, and I'll follow journalists that go, okay, look, it's because it's bananas. They've gone to two different far sides, and they're expecting these normal people, 80% of us that are somewhere middle left, middle right, to make a choice between crazy and crazy. I'm not saying that's the case with pro-choice, pro-life. I'm just saying have some empathy. Don't shout at the opposition, because that's not going to be receptive.
Well, here's two things just to put it in full perspective of like just where. So you just started following me on Instagram. I just started following you. So you didn't see that I posted this like a couple weeks ago. But my mom had an abortion when she was like right before, like probably like 10 years before she had me. And she was married to someone else. Like and I remember talking about this
in the 70s or early 80s.
80s, yeah. And I remember
that's still an early time to.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I remember talking about it like in college, because I was like, if someone had, I think there was this question of like, if someone this is kind of, the question was like, if your dad had like, it was a really dark question. It was like, it was in an ethics class or something. It was like, if your dad like molested a kid or like touched a kid and then had a kid, what do you want him to tell you that he had done that? And I was like, well, like my mom had an abortion and I want her to tell me. Like I kind of worked. I was like, I don't like her having an abortion didn't mean that she didn't love me, like, or she was gonna abort me as an adult human. Like I wasn't. It was just that was her decision in her time. And I remember like, and then I dated the guy I just broke up with. That we broke up with. Like he voted for Trump, and she was like. I mean, that was the main reason that we tell people we broke up, because everyone just accepts it as fact. And like, oh my God.
Oh, okay. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Easy. Case closed.
Yeah. An absentee ballot in Pennsylvania. So it really counted. Which is really, yeah.
Did you try to steal his ballot? You tried to...
I mean, it was a real
No wonder you peed a question mark. You're
I was like, who am I anymore? Right?
I fucked this guy. Question mark?
It was a question mark. It was like a, so like I very much have like my mom's a very, I mean, both my parents are just, I mean, my dad always is like, what's wrong with this Trump guy? Like screaming, like just like, but he's not saying anything necessarily great. I think he just, sorry if I'm screaming. I think like there's just something to be said about like, yes, you could have, like, I loved this guy who voted for the wrong guy.
Can't you?
I think, but at some point, but this election has divided relationships to a point that because these are such issues that are so because he ran out such a
they're
campaign
affecting
that
people.
Yes. They're actively affecting people's lives day to day.
But the folks that are pro a lot, and again, there's extremists on all ends.
You talk about like punching up versus punching down. Like this guy was always punching down, and like he perfectly spelled out what he was gonna do to like fuck over all the little guys, and like
and
so
little guys
that's
are like, us too. Let's do it.
And
so
like, these people who are like one issue voters that vote for this guy because X Y Z,
or it's
like
anti-Hillary, which
it's like, but how are you going to be a one issue voter when you know that it's not a one issue world,
right?
Because
like,
you're talking to
one
one IQ. No, you're talking to people that. Again,
you got to think about unintended consequences, and what are the unintended consequences of
people
this?
digest different information and they hold on to that. So people see Trump as someone who's like fighting for them, for the forgotten. Again, it sounds, you might think I'm like pro Trump. Of course I'm not.
No, but it's all.
But
you're
it's
right.
like and I said this before, but it's like I'm the guy when I'm watching a magic trick. I want to see what the other hand's doing. Don't show me the hand with the fucking tissue pushing into it. Show me. I want to know what's up your sleeve, and I'm dissecting that. So when I hear of like people that are one side versus the other, I look the other way and I go, what's going on over here?
Well, why? Yeah, right. Why are you that way? You have to also. I don't think there's ever a point to. There's never.
A lot of comics we just dissect shit. We go, is
but
this
also
the
like
norm?
I have a big issue with. I think for such a long time, people were like, as soon as you said you were pro Trump, everyone was like, oh my, what? So people stopped saying it. So people and now of course, and I think. It's also flipped and people are so proud of it. But for a while, I think there was a silent majority. And that's what they talk about, that people didn't advertise it because they kind of were getting shit on by, and everyone was like, there's no way that guy's going to win. So people stopped talking about it. And then they just went to the ballot and they voted for the
they knew that their family might be like, what? If
so
they had said it out loud.
Anything.
So they didn't say anything.
Right. And I think it's a big, and that's because we're shaming people instead of listening to them. I don't want to, why do you want to, we never fought about it. I never fought about it with him. I was just like, okay, could you explain it to me? And it escalated to a point where
we're not well versed in like the art of debate. Right. And I think that like, and especially in a social media world where like everything is either like all caps or like it feels like very like pointed and judgmental. Words on the screen do not translate the same way that like a conversation would translate. Right. And people were afraid to have those conversations because it's uncomfortable, but also just because like we've forgotten how to keep it civil.
Yes.
Or just have like
we're so high strung. We're trying to defuse a bomb here, and instead of being like lift your arms up, be slow, we're like, hey, take the fucking jacket off. We're like not. And again, I don't have a solution for that so much as knowing what's wrong and knowing that like
I think listening though isn't that a big part of it?
Yeah,
and the problem that we have,
listening even more important than talking, but like face to face talking and listening.
And it's hard because we don't have boots in the ground in Alabama and all these other places. And I do think what happened with the last election is a lot of people didn't get the results they wanted, and it did. Like Nikki, make them really want to take fucking shit into their own hands, and that's great.
Which is awesome.
And that's why it's good that there's 23 presidential candidates at this point. It's good because there's a lot of people that think they can do it. It'll get whittled down. There's a lot of time left. It might not be anyone who we think it might be, but it's like, it's not
but even
all
like elections at the local level where you see a ton of women and
a lot of new black female judges. I mean, I'm gonna butcher all the fucking stats,
but you're right.
A lot of crazy good things have happened. And I told Tasha, it's like, look,
true.
This might have been a horrible situation, but it might have been.
It was a good catalyst, maybe.
Exactly, and like light is the greatest disinfectant. You got to shine light on some issues.
Boy, if we could just hold on.
I mean, I like that. I
mean, if the world doesn't fall apart in the next.
No, but I mean, listen. There's the billions of dollars lobbying for like anti-climate change, and like there's a lot of issues at hand that are a lot stronger than just telling some Twitter stranger that what they are. But it's a collective thing that we do, whereas like we can't just tell people they're stupid. These aren't stupid people. They're just drinking a different Kool-Aid. Like I'm a sugar addict, okay? I know I'm a sugar addict, but I didn't know it for years that ketchup lathered on my fries was a bad thing. I'm eating the vegetables. This is my food. This is the fucking food pyramid said grains at the bottom. I ate oatmeal all the time. I was a fat kid. I wore a t-shirt in the pool. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know. I was like, I'm just a fat kid. I didn't realize maybe like lay off a little bit of the carbs.
I think
you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, but it is your responsibility.
So we're saying all these people
live and learn.
You can be informed at this point.
But you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people have changed their points of views, but they go, well, what are we going to do in the opposition? Who's going to step up to the fucking plate and provide a solution to this? Is it Buttigieg? It might be. I mean, again, and look, we're going to go back to anal in a second.
Aren't we already talking about it? It sort of feels like we are.
Yeah, this is Trump got voted, and she goes, well, fuck me in the ass, and here we are. We
I was like,
it
sure feels like it. All right, let's find out.
I worry sometimes we're just, I worry sometimes even on stage that I'm doing things that are just preaching to the choir. Like, it's good to like I started looking at pink tax, right? And I'm not running a bit by you. I'm just talking about it as a way, as like a guy, I can be like, well, the pink tax is different products made identical for men and women, and women spend more. And the idea has been brought by feminists that it's because women are more agreeable. And studies that have been done, women are more agreeable and they're willing to spend more because they're like, oh, fuck it, $7 for a razor. Whereas the guy's like, fucking $7 for fuck that shit. But then I was thinking of it like and again, I'm not trying to make it where like white straight dudes matter too, but it's like there's dudes that guys spend so much money for.
Right.
You guys have never bought bottle service at a club, have you? I have. It fucking made me broke. In Mexico, I was like, oh, it'll be cheap, $1,600. Okay, so like,
I buy men's razors. That's weird.
Yeah, well,
but usually I buy pink things for sure.
But it's like
if
deal.
it's marketed towards me, I get it.
So like I've just been like exploring just the thought of like, look, there's different. It's very complicated.
Also, like, they say about dating because guys complain about having to buy the dinner or whatever, pay for the first date, and it's like, yeah, but we paid for all this. Hair, makeup, nails.
That's a stupid.
No, but you just said that your
really
thing, like you
I
compared bottle service to pink tax, a thing you did once in your life. I'm sorry, that $1,600 doesn't add up to the extra $3 I spend on deodorant, razors, creams, blah, blah,
look,
blah, blah,
I could peel off these fake eyelashes and I'd still love you. You know what I mean? Like guys, there's certain things we're attracted to, and we will spend stupid money.
Bullshit. Natural beauty in my ass. Any guy who's like, I love a natural beauty, I'm like, you've never seen one.
You got this fucking 60-year-old at the
kidding?
gym telling you how big his dick is, and I'm sure you weren't wearing makeup. You were just at the gym.
I worked there.
Okay,
I always look good. Women
put on makeup for each other.
I think there's
I
think it varies.
Gross generalization. You're being very cringy right
now.
now.
Cringy.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's what I think there's
women put on makeup for themselves.
Yeah,
that's why.
I
not
like
for
looking
anybody
good.
So why does the guy have to pay
themselves.
for that?
What do you mean? No one's asking you to pay for it. It's just that like people pay different stuff for different things.
And it's complicated.
Yeah.
But of course I agree that a razor, if the production cost is the same, it should be the same.
Well, it's just shitty on the marketers to like market this thing to us corporations and upcharge it.
Because that's economics.
Yeah.
So on the economic level, if women will spend not even gender, if people will spend more money for pink razors than they will for blue razors, we're going to charge them more.
I was just reading about this thing. This guy was trying to
I'm like impressed by that.
This guy was trying to it's not a big deal. This guy was trying to resell his camper. He has like an RV, right? And he's trying to resell it, and he's trying to sell it for less
to her
than
boyfriend. He needs
Kelly,
a house.
yeah. But he's like, it's less than Kelly Blue Book value. It's less than its value that I'm trying to sell it for, but there are no bites. And people were chiming in like, well, just because you have $13,000 left on the loan and Kelly Blue Book says it's worth $15,000 doesn't mean it's worth that. It's worth what people are willing to spend for it.
Economics, baby.
So
patreon.com/thesap. We have an $8 tier. You can get all the past episodes if you want to spend.
That's really good point. Like it's also it's like what. Also, I think if you price something higher, it makes it seem more valuable.
Yeah,
so why wouldn't
economics.
I? Then I'm like, oh, can I get a deal? Well, that's the thing. Like like if I want to raise, I'm gonna go a little bit higher than what I think I should get, and then so that we find a middle ground
for 10% more, or whatever it is.
So we find somewhere in the middle.
There's an app. There's an app where it's I'll tell you about it after if you're not on it, but it's an app where you, as a comic, they have circus performers, all these different things. You sign up for it, and then people can pay you per hour to do your thing.
I feel like I'm gonna get looped into like sex work or something.
Probably.
Kidnapped.
I get 10%. But
10% of my
bring the dildo.
I'm taking that with me everywhere.
Gifts. So in the app you can put your rate, you know what I mean, and it's like whatever, and it's like we'd all do stand up for free, like we work.
But if
around,
I could,
but like some comics that I know are on it that are like fucking shit comics, and their rate's like $1,200.
What?
And then other comics are like their rate on it's like 0.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you guys going, if I have $400 to spend on a stand-up act, I'm not going to get the 0 guy.
Right.
I'm going to get the guy that's 600, and he's going to do a deal for 400. So it's like,
and he thinks he's $600 worth. I believe it.
And it's about knowing your worth.
Yes.
Now it gets complicated because worth changes, and it's like, well, if it's close by, I'll do it for $50. But if I got to drive out there, do it in front of a biker gang, and might get stabbed in the neck.
But I've heard like the amount of times someone's been like, well, what's your rate? And I'm like, what do you? you'll pay me what
Yeah.
you pay.
What's your budget?
Oh, I'm like, what do you? Okay. And honestly, like when people, because I produce shows too, so people being like, what's your rate? I'm like, all right, I gotta calculate a rate. But that's something that you have to figure out. You're like, well, what is? And I'll ask. I mean, you can get that educated. Like you can figure out. You talk to other people in your area and like people who have worked with you, who know what their rates are, and it's.
And we've had people
and
that
the more you run your own business, the more you learn too. That like you do need to upsell.
Yes.
Like know what you're willing to accept, double it.
Yeah.
Add taxes and fees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
But
Like,
also know who you're talking to, Tasha. Like,
Yes,
like
know
if
your
Tasha got a
market.
gig, Budweiser wanted her to hold a beer can and an Instagram photo. It's like, well, what do you do it
That's
for?
gonna-
500?
Yeah.
Then say 1,000. And they go,
Yeah.
how about 900? And you go, oh, fuck you, sure.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then, but then
Yeah.
if you got some like, student film guy who's like got a good eye for the camera, but
Right.
it's like, okay, well, let's
of
work.
course. And
Yes.
you know,
But like Budweiser. Yeah. I mean, that's.
You just got to know there's certain money in certain things and then
Yes.
and then different.
You don't know you're not getting ripped off either. Yeah. You have to know
Yeah.
what things cost. You have to know. I mean,
but yeah, if you think about like somebody who runs their own business and not like an Instagram person, but like somebody who does heating and air conditioning or whatever, they know what the cost of the service is per hour. They know what the cost of the unit is.
Yeah.
They know what the cost is to pay somebody who does the billing all year long to do invoices and blah, blah, blah. They know what the cost of taxes they're going to have to pay at the end of the year. And all of those things are factored into the cost.
Right.
So like.
That's smart. I never really thought about it that way.
We
Yeah.
have a comment that said, I want both these ladies to make the babies. Make me babies.
Ooh.
And then he said, I'm just very horny and want to spray. So that's how the live stream's going, folks.
Gross. Report that person.
If you spray a question mark, let us know, and we'll
Then we found our match.
we'll start. We got to start to dismount from this amazing conversation because we're almost at 2 hours. We're pushing
shit.
on it. Yeah.
Wow. Because we were doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we're at an
so
hour. We're at an
talking
hour.
about good
An
stuff.
hour
Yeah.
and 40. We've covered a lot of
Whoa.
ground. I mean, I didn't think we'd talk about Buttigieg and butt stuff. And they say, actually, that makes perfect sense. He's gay. That's the joke. That's fucking right. Cringy. What? Yeah. I mean, again, it's we. It all boils down to self-worth, empathy, knowing. I think just knowing that like we're all trying our best and not putting too much weight in what other people are doing, because it really is some fucking weird simulation shit that we're in, and it's like we can sit there and get back into our addictions where we like look at our phones before we go to bed, and it's like, what do you think you're gonna see? You're going to see another model in the Maldives, you know what I mean, posing.
But you truly create your own reality, like, based on your perceptions of reality. Like, some person A walks down the street and sees, like, the homeless person pooping and, like, the person parked like an asshole and whatever else, and they feel crappy. And then person B walks down the street and sees the sun shining and hears the birds chirping. And, like, you
and
create
is an idiot
your
because
own...
they missed the person shitting. Like, that's... you kind of have to see both, though. Like, you have to be, like... There's a thing where it's, like, I always was, like, if I ever... like live in LA and I'm like, if I ever am okay with the situation, like with the homelessness, like then I have to leave because then I have like I've lost all perspective. So there's like I think you have to you choose your own reality, but you can also help create it, which is
and just like you were saying that you need both. I read this thing.
Tasha needs a podcast of her own called I Read This Thing.
I love it.
No,
I
it was
love
really cool. It was about reframing the sort of like positivity mindset. Because for people who struggle with like depression or whatever, it's hard for them to hear like, oh, well, you've got to think positive. And so there's this new method is like, no, think realistic or accurate. Like I can't remember the exact like buzzword that they were putting on it, but it's like look at the crappy and be okay with the crappy and feel the crappy and look at the positive. It's like if you the example they gave was like, oh, your science teacher asked to see you out after class. And immediately you're in panic. What did I do wrong? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah.
Why
I'm
am I
in
still
trouble.
In high school?
Am I failing?
34. What the fuck's science teacher?
Yeah.
But then you have to remind yourself, well, did I do poorly on my last test? Do teachers sometimes just want to talk to somebody and it's not for a bad reason? Yes. And like looking at both sides helps you to come to a more realistic center. And so the aim should be thinking realistically, not necessarily thinking positively.
I think we definitely like exaggerate things in our minds. Like you immediately start like snowballing and thinking of the worst thing. Something that a friend of mine once told me, he's like, there's like this Buddhist method. I mean, I totally am botching this, but the idea is like you work yourself up and you're like, okay, if I quit my job, if I do this, oh my God, then all these things are going to happen. You start thinking about like the worst case scenario.
That like waterfall sort of effect.
And then immediately you have to just step back and be like, okay, well, nothing, where am I? I'm still exactly where I was before I started thinking about any of these things. Right now, I'm exactly where I am. Nothing has changed. None of those things that I think are going to happen have happened. So take a step back, realize it's good to know that those things could happen, but live in the moment right now and say, okay, where am I right now? Like if you work yourself up, like I'm not getting booked on shows. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. All those things that you think are just compounding on you and feel like you're failing. Take a step back and be like, well, what can I do now? Where am I right now? I can go to an open mic. I'll feel better. Just little things of like, none of that has happened. You're not failing right now. It's not. So just kind of realizing, I mean, and I think it's also like, I mean, I'm on anti-anxiety meds. I think everyone I know is on some kind of shit where it's like, yeah, sometimes you're like, I don't feel good. I feel sad. Like, you're allowed to.
So it's anxiety is your thing that you're.
Oh yeah, anxiety is my thing. I didn't know I was anxious.
I wasn't until I got a question mark on my.
A lot of people. One of my friends was like, "You're on anxiety meds. You seem so anxious." I was like, "Imagine me off of them." It's not like a social anxiety. I think it's. I don't really know. I don't know what it's.
I just developed anxiety in the past couple years.
It's fun.
I was always like more on the depressive scale.
Sure,
on
fun.
the depressive
of
side
things. You really
things.
upgraded, Tasha.
Yeah.
No, but like anxiety was such a new beast
Yeah.
for me. I didn't realize that
It's
I
a
could
hormonal
feel
issue.
so stressed
right?
about everything and go from
know.
0 to 60
Yeah.
over something so minimal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're fretting about things that you're in fight or flight mode more. Often than not.
I think so.
And
Then just wallowing.
And anxiety can be horrible for a relationship. I'm not telling you this to be like fuck you. I'm saying like I'm compassionate, but it can be like, you know, if we're late to go somewhere. Hey
Yeah.
babe, I ordered the Uber. You know how many times you fight because you already ordered. You said you were ready. It's here in 3 minutes.
Or you get a text message that's like a problem at work that you have
And
to
then you
solve
just-
or something, and like you are completely immobilized for the next hour because you have to take care of some sort of problem. You know that like
that you didn't. Yeah, something just can throw you off and completely.
And I show anxiety in a different way. I'm cool hand Luke with a lot of that type of shit, but I'm anxious before staying upset. I'm
Sure.
anxious before certain things where I'm like.
But
cool
that's
hand.
adrenaline.
It is, but
I mean,
it's
I guess
also
all anxiety is some sort of
I
like
think it's
cortisol or
some
something.
kind of hormone. Well, it's funny. Like my therapist and I were on the phone the other. She's my drug doctor. It's not
Drug doctor?
Psychologist. Is that psychiatrist? Whatever one. She's the one who can prescribe you medicine.
Yeah,
literally will never-
psychiatrist.
That's it. Yep. She's the one. Directions, right? Same kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know. I just know it's one way or the other. She basically was like, I was like, should we change my medicine? She was like, well, why don't we do a full test of like, just see like how like your lymph nodes are doing, like everything else in your body first. And then we can decide if we should change the biggest thing that affects your mood. And I was like, that's a good idea. Let's make sure that everything else. It was like, yeah, no.
Does Tasha need to call this lady?
If you want to talk
I mean,
to
and I'm not asking you this. I'm not
Maybe.
saying this as a flaw of yours. Tasha's got Lyme disease, and some of the characteristics are just
Yeah.
like fucking itchy.
you still have
mind.
it. That's like a.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of drugs.
They're
No,
all,
it's
they're
okay.
all over there and over here. Every day.
The
It's a lot of
two
drugs.
layers of drugs.
But it's like, but what are you gonna do to like not be anxious about?
Well, but
about
I'm
age?
treating.
But
A
Tasha,
lot of
Right.
the anxiety comes from Lyme, the bacteria, or Babesia. Like a lot of things
Yeah.
are side effects. Anxiety is a
Jesus.
side effect.
and you
of
and you
being
can't
sick.
control that. So what I'm asking for you is someone who's aging in what you do.
Ooh.
And no, I'm saying
No, I'm
this
just kidding.
because look,
Yeah,
because
right?
I get anxiety to be like, why
Wow.
am I not like, you know what I mean? I get career anxiety as well.
Sure.
But like, what can you do to not look at everyone else's highlight reel on social media?
Oh,
I know I
yeah.
feel like shit when I'm scrolling social media and seeing all the shows I'm not booked on.
Yeah.
I'm spending time doing that versus spending time
Writing
being like,
jokes,
book me
yeah.
on shows or writing jokes.
I have a
wouldn't-
friend who wrote some stuff where she was like, I'm not feeling good today. I'm looking at everyone's social media and I just don't feel good. And I want to put that out in the world that people know that sometimes it's not all great on there. And I was like, I like that. And then of course she was like, got a million messages being like, you're great, you're perfect. She was like, that wasn't
Hashtag
why
blessed,
I did
yeah.
it. She's like, that wasn't why I did it. I did it so I just wasn't a highlight
And
reel.
every once in a while, those types of videos go viral where it's like, I don't really look like that, and it goes viral. But Tasha, I'm only saying this because if the amount of time you and I both spend, I mean, we go down wormholes on Instagram sometimes, right? They feed you one after
Oh,
another,
yeah.
and they're fucking hilarious. They've already gone viral. They're all money. They're good shit.
Yeah.
But what if that time was really spent? I know it's hard to do, but with a gratitude journal at the end of the night, and then we go to bed.
Yeah, totally. That's
It's
a
so-
great
I know
habit.
it's-
I mean, I don't think that's a big thing of mine. I think I know when it's time to put the phone
I
down
think
because
you're wrong.
something's making me feel shitty.
No, I think you're wrong.
No.
I think it can be an out. You're so in denial.
I love to go down the internet wormholes and look
Oh,
at
yeah.
things and read things, but I think I know when I'm starting to feel shitty, like, okay,
If
enough
it's
of this.
because
Let's
of
find
that.
something
well, what if we do
else to
this?
do.
What if we plug
But
those phones on?
I 100% agree with you
your hand
that
down.
a gratitude
This is
journal
what I have to do with
is
the
a
YouTube.
really great idea. Even a dream journal, just something else that's not like a blue light
And
in
all
your
I'm saying,
like rub the
Pretty
dog's
good.
belly. I don't know.
Yeah.
The amount of times,
Scratching the
that
dogs.
I'm just like, put the phone down, pick up the dog, let's do it. That is like my favorite. I actually just installed that app on my phone where it's like, how many times do you pick up your phone? It was like 100 by like 2 o'clock, and I was like,
you've checked everything already.
I was like, gee, yeah. I you know how many times I pick up my phone, just look at the time, forget to do that, and then like, and I'm like, oh Jesus, like.
Yeah, you like need to check something in your calendar, or email, but like Instagram is open, so you start scrolling.
Yeah, Instagram is.
Look, I don't. It's made by
Scary.
casino programmers. They know what they're doing. And
Is
and
it?
yeah, absolutely. There's
Yeah,
slot
it's
machines.
gamified.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Tasha,
it's
I'm not
brilliant.
I'm not calling you out to be like abrasive and be like fuck you, because we both have issues with the social media. Who doesn't? I mean,
I
that's
do too.
couples
Can
in
you imagine
relationships.
kids that are growing up in this world?
All I'm saying is, if we have
like
to plug,
at least we remember
listen,
VHSs. You know what I mean?
The
like
big
there
time
was
without
a
screens.
yeah.
the biggest thing that you're defending of having the phone in the bed is that, well, what if someone calls you or your alarm? And I'm just saying,
No.
if we plugged the phone right there and we walked 8 feet into bed and we got a healthy night's sleep and we said the things that we loved about, you know what I mean? And sometimes I'll say positive things to Tasha and I'll say, you got to say it back. You got to say it out loud. Your body's transmitting these thoughts and they become actions and love. And even like the other day, we're sitting down having coffee and Tasha goes, what if people just don't like the podcast? What if that's why it's not doing
Well,
well?
I am helping you out. I have 2 parents who will definitely listen. No, they're not telling
And I
them.
go, I go,
but
look,
no, yeah,
you got to be on my side here. Like, we're doing what we do, and we're doing it with love. And there's going to be a slice of the audience. And by the way, the last week has been insane with the amount of listeners. We got over a dozen Patreon people since we started a few months ago. And we got thousands of people that chime in. And sometimes we don't hear from them until we get real, not dark, but we'll get like, fuck, is anyone even out there? And then someone writes in from Iowa. And then we get Sophia. And is Iowa or, did I say that right? Iowa or Idaho. Fuck, is she Idaho?
Well,
there's a couple out there.
unsubscribe.
Jeez.
Well, there's one thing you're kind of touching on, thing where like the overnight success thing. Like, yeah, people, but like, you know what? The last overnight success that I think about a lot was like Dane Cook. He was he got made in a weekend. He became like
15 years
superstar, but he became a superstar.
He got his first late night credit 9 years in.
I'm just saying he became the person he became, like with Barry Cats, like two nights. And now we can't, like, there's something about it where, like, do you want to be that? I think there's something about, like, do you want to be the thing that people like? And I mean, we all knew who he was. And I don't know if what he was doing, but it wasn't sustainable. And
well,
I think,
not on an arena level, but he's still. I mean, I know what your point is.
I think you have to look at it and say this: like, if you're like, does someone not like the podcast? You listen back, and you're like, well, do I like the podcast? I think about that with my own jokes. I'm like, why isn't this fun? Why isn't this landing? And I'm like, do I think it's funny? If objectively, if I heard someone else say that, would I laugh? If it was me, like, and then that's the reality of it.
I think we're on the Autobahn of what we've done with the SAP. I think we're going as fast and energetic.
Yeah.
And I think we're as good as we've ever been.
I don't know if Autobahn is what you want to be on, right?
We're got the seatbelts on, but we're kicking it into 5th gear is my point.
I think it's good to build as opposed to like to. My
you don't
example
wanna,
was to
0
build
to
into
60,
right? Because I think
and
you have
be
to be
unprepared.
Ready.
We're asking for a softball metaphor. If you could help us out. With
Um,
Are we hitting singles?
I'm trying to get to walk. I used to walk a lot. They walked me a lot. I was real short, so I had no strike zone.
Did you slide into second? Was there scissoring?
No.
What happens?
Scissoring? No, a lot of times I got hit in the face with a ball, and so I'd get a jelly donut. I don't know. It's really. That happened like twice, but that's all I really remember softball being for. Like that. Yeah, I wasn't good.
But the point is you're not good.
Sometimes you get a jelly donut.
Here's the thing.
Life's like
Love
that.
jelly donuts.
Who doesn't?
It spills on your shirt.
Yeah.
You just scoop it up.
I miss
You scoop it up with your finger.
Oh.
Anyway,
like a powdered sugar
Yeah.
one.
I
Powdered sugar jelly
I got to rein
donut.
this in. I got a sugar addiction, folks. I got to rein this in.
Oh God.
I just want to say this.
Really?
I lost my train of thought. Fuck. What I was
10
gonna say is,
years
look,
to be an overnight success.
yeah,
Yeah.
but perfection is what
The enemy.
the enemy of good. Or wait, is perfection the enemy of good? Is that? And it's and it's paralysis by perfection or whatever these fucking quotes are that I'm fucking up. And Tasha, you succeeded with a lot of things early in life. I go fail every night. I fail every night.
I watch it. It's so true.
Yeah, it's really
every night. It's
really,
like
and I get
never
anxiety out there at the improv. I do. I go.
Are you going tonight?
No, fuck no.
Okay,
I'm done.
just
I
check.
actually got 2 hours of sleep last
No,
night.
I was just making sure that neither of us was going to go do that.
No. I don't subject myself to that shit.
Yeah. Okay,
but
good. I was like,
you got to set standards. But the point is, Tasha, is you got to train yourself to fail again. You got to train yourself to look stupid.
No, I don't like that.
I'm being honest with you. You've got
No,
so
I
much
hear
going
ya.
on, and we comics
Okay, this was
fail.
actually. Wait, can I end on the quote that I was looking up earlier?
Is it the one that I sent you?
No.
Okay, you get the quote, and then okay, so
I got
before
the
you got the
vibrator, so
vibrator.
we all got something.
I was gonna look up my quote. I sent her this quote that I was like, some people, the curse is that they've succeeded so early, so then when the failures hit, they don't know what to do. And like we have the benefit of kind of like getting little successes, but also I'm not trying to say this as a Debbie Downer for the podcast. I'm so proud of it. My Debbie Downer is that my girlfriend doesn't think that we're doing so well with it sometimes because she's
well,
like,
I think I turned that around.
yeah, well, of course,
You're
yeah, you're actually taking my hosting spot.
Oh my God,
I gotta
it's
go.
about
Actually,
time.
but so the point is, Tasha, is that because you don't see us as guys, we fucked. You know. Who that podcast has
No,
made
but
millions.
I think
It's like-
it's fair of me.
I have no idea what
You sort of
podcast
are
that
like
is.
generalizing my kind of criticisms, and I've given you criticisms like, okay, this is a dating and relationships podcast, and like sometimes we'll go off topic and we'll talk about like podcasting. Like he loves to talk about podcasting or loves to talk
meta.
about stand up, and I'm like, this is not a stand up podcast. This is not a podcasting podcast. This is a dating and relationships
Those are
podcast.
B
so I
stories.
think these are but I think those are valid criticisms. And sometimes we have like a couple episodes in the row that are like kind of like,
Like
whatever.
how much anal did we talk about?
You know,
right.
more anal.
More anal. These people are tuning in for the anal. It's like, well, part 2.
This
no pun
episode's
intended.
gonna spike.
It better. Oh, sorry. I get that. I think people make outlines for like podcast. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm not.
Look, and again, I'm a passion person. If you're really passionate about something, you light up over that.
Yeah.
That's what people want to listen to. We had a National Geographic photographer on, and we talked about hammerhead sharks.
Oh my God.
Not
that
everything
sounds
relates,
awesome.
but I do understand sometimes I'll have a guest on and Tasha doesn't, and like I'm talking to like the guest and we're like connecting because we're talking about, we're inside baseball. I get that. So we can rein that back, but also our audience, they want like, it's because we're not just a dating podcast. It's because we bring our personalities that they want to grow with. They are our friends.
Pigeonhole us, but when you see my eyes
Right.
glaze over, like there's only so many times you can listen
But
about
sometimes that's the
podcasting.
edible. We don't know. All right, read the quote. We got to go.
All right, Michael Jordan. I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying. Right? It's good stuff.
That was what you pulled up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a guy that couldn't get on the varsity team in high school, and then he became the greatest basketball player of all time.
But that's the thing. Like you were telling me, like I got to learn how to fail again. It's
Wait,
like,
I can't. Say it again. I can't.
I can accept failure. I can't accept not trying.
And
I
it's
feel
the
like
whole,
that's his dad being a gambler right there. Doesn't that a gambling quote a little?
His dad.
I can't. I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like. A little like, can't not try. Got to try again. Gotta try.
'cause Michael Jordan has lost hundreds of
Okay,
millions
I
of dollars
shouldn't
in
have
gambling.
said it was
No,
Michael
no,
Jordan.
no,
No,
but
no.
no, but
Point
it's
is-
just funny in context. But out of context, also, yes, 100%. Also, no one's gonna shame Michael Jordan for not. I mean, he's fantastic.
Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
But when you're really passionate about something, when something excites you, when you feel deep in your soul that you've got to go for it, you've got to be prepared to fail.
Yeah.
Because your first time always sucks, and like that's just part of it. If something deep inside you wants to try something, you've got to go for it. You can't let fear of failure hold you back.
Right.
Anal.
Yeah. Also,
Failure would be
Yeah.
shitting on yourself. Is that failure?
you have to prepare.
worried
You
about
have
that?
to prepare.
Is
No,
that
I
something you worry
prepared.
about?
I was prepared.
Well, you
She
just
did
eat
her
a
research.
bunch of fiber
She
one or whatever.
didn't eat
If you
for
wanna-
probably 24 hours
Oh,
in advance.
I'm not gonna not eat.
Because how do you prepare for anal?
All right, I'll
I
send you
think
the
we've
video.
had a guest talk about this.
I'll send you
before,
the
actually.
video. You just.
Send you the video.
I
Hold
was
on.
just kidding. I don't really have
I was
a
like,
video.
no, but is there like,
That
I
would
mean,
be-
like,
I feel like Adrian was talking about this on the podcast many episodes ago.
who's Adrian?
Adrian?
Oh Jesus! Wow.
Aiden.
Oh, she said the wrong name. That's
Well,
why.
sure. You just like
Still, who's Aiden?
squirt a thing up.
Oh,
your-
Aiden
Your
Park.
friend.
Oh, Aiden Park. Okay,
You just-
the gay Korean guy.
You just squirt a thing up your butt, then it just like a dude,
Oh,
That's
like
it?
an intimate?
Yeah, like an
Enema?
enema.
Listen,
yeah.
my ass is never.
It honestly just cleans you out.
I wouldn't be opposed to like I've stuck a finger in my like prostate butt area. You know what I mean? Like I felt that's what they tell the guys to do. Don't look at me. See, like don't shame
No,
me
you
with those
go
eyes.
to the doctor and they do it for you.
You suck your own.
No, this is you stick your finger.
Yeah, he was checking his prostate.
Am I getting
checking.
shamed? Do you see what's
We're
happening?
woman splaining, checking your prostate.
Guys, do you know how cringy this is? This is so cringy right now. What if a guy? Listen, you're not checking your prostate to see if you have prostate cancer. You might find a lump, but you're checking. You're
Checking
you're
to make
Trying
sure
to
it
feel
feels
your
good.
G-spot,
No,
the male G-spot.
When a guy comes, when he reaches coitus, is that the term?
No.
When a guy comes, you can like control that by also like touching your prostate.
Yes, I have heard that.
Well, what the fuck? What are you looking at
So
me like
you
I'm
were
some alien?
trying it for
You're-
fun?
Guys, I'm not
trying
finger
out.
blasting
You were
myself. I
jerking
don't
it
have
with
the
the finger
fantasy.
up, with
You
your
don't have
fingers
to.
I don't
for
have a
fun.
You don't
fantasy
have to
flex.
finger blast yourself with the nude. I'm just
Guys, this has gone off the rails.
We're a
Allie,
mess.
you're invited anytime. We're big
I'll be
fans
back
of
next
you.
week.
And I wanted to tell you this because I do believe in words of affirmations, and I mean this. I was thinking about where I would see you going career-wise, and I mean this as someone who I believe you would be on a sitcom and get a lot of laughs, and like network execs not know why. Like I feel like you're very funny, but not in like a Kramer super obvious way, and that's a unique thing about
I take
you.
that. I
So
like
please
that.
absorb my compliment.
I like that. Thank
and
you.
And I hope you come back once you've made it on a sitcom and,
Yeah.
and don't unfollow us.
No, I'll double follow.
How can
You know
people
what I mean?
follow you? What's
Home.
good?
Follow
home.
me home. I have a very vicious dog. On my Instagram, I guess at Allie Zis, ALLIEBZIS. My last name is really tricky. You can just find me around.
And you have any
Oh,
shows you're promoting?
I
or?
have a show that I run once a month called Heist at Oino Vino in Glendale, and we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary
Woo.
on June.
Is that the basement
7th.
place?
Oh, when you
I
say it
thought
like
was,
that.
Well, I thought that was no. It's like a cellar. It's like a wine
Oh,
cellar.
we've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah,
it's
fun.
long
It's a
time
great
ago.
room.
Yeah, it's really good. It's been a really good show. We've had a really good time with it, and it's called Heist. We hold people up and make them listen to comedy. So.
And I feel like
It's pretty good.
you posted.
yeah, the
you
mask.
were wearing
we
a mask.
wear ski masks a lot of times, or like pantyhose. But sometimes the pantyhose are really hot. It's a whole thing.
So you got to be white to get away with this shit. You can't just be.
I mean, I don't want to even begin. I think you just have to be a girl underneath it for people not to be upset about
No
it.
offense, but my boy Quincy Johnson can't just be leaving Heist with a ski mask on.
Oh, I
and-
love Quincy. He could be
I love
wearing-
him too. Okay.
He could be wearing that.
It's
I'd
not-
probably
It's a political statement. It's
immediately.
not
I'm like,
Quincy.
Dave,
It's-
wow, you're really shitting on Quincy.
They're shooting our black friends. Look, I'm trying to find the way to fix that here.
Cringy.
Bringing up.
I think
anyway.
you're bringing it back home with the cringe.
I think I'll go back to anal and sit on that one for the night. Thanks so much for doing the show. And for everyone listening, I don't want to make these episodes go too long. I was going to play a clip, not now, but when I put this in post-production. So on the Patreon, we do a bunch of different things. We have road episodes. We've got our live stand-up show that we do, the Mimosa Show. We put it up there. And it's just for our guests, our private stuff we just can't say. And I did a solo one on Friday where I took an article from Cosmo from, I think, 2003, and it was the 20 best sex tips. And I reviewed them and like gave my male commentary because there were sex tips for women. I thought it was fucking funny. I was like heating up. Sometimes these solo episodes, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like having this like internal thought as I'm talking alone for an hour. But like by like tip 9, I'm like, I'm having fucking fun over here. So I'm gonna play a couple of those after this episode so people can listen to like a 10-minute segment of the Patreon so you know what you're getting. But if you have the funds and you do want to support us, we're using this Patreon sort of money to like upgrade our studios. We talked about the lighting kit we're getting. We're literally going to rebuild the kitchen in here. Yeah, we record in the kitchen. I know, it sounds great.
It's beautiful.
This is our home. I mean, we're going to sort of reupholster this bench where we keep the dildos in. We keep the dildos in
the
here.
dildo bench is my favorite bench.
And so that way we're going to have maybe a mic set up so we can have like our therapist bench right here,
I
and the
love
walls
that.
getting painted, and I've already ordered all the lights that are going up. So for those of our friends that have donated, and some people donated for a few months and then they stopped, we appreciate all of you, and that money is going somewhere. That's not just us, whatever. Like
it's not going to food.
Yeah, no, we're starving.
Yeah, but looking so good.
But we're going to have the nicest light underneath our eyes. And anyway, that's part of my sales pitch. So go to patreon.com/thesap, THESAP, and then you can see the different tiers. But at our main tier level, you just get you get like 4 or 5 hours of extra content a month. And it's a cool little app. Have you been on Patreon before?
No.
It's a fucking cool little app that you just you can like stream the episodes there. So for like the solo episodes and the private ones we do, I can hook up my laptop and like play new music. So I do New Music Fridays where I can play a new song, not worry about it getting kicked off YouTube. It's all private. So people can just listen, jam out with me, and then just whatever. And I can just talk mad shit, like shit that only a dozen.
You have to pay to listen to.
Yeah. So it's like so that's where I put all the good
cool.
stuff. So anyway,
so this is gonna be on that.
No, this is free anal for you guys.
Hey.
Anyway, not from Allie, just the story. Not promising free anal. That'll be that's the $50.
$50.
Everybody's like, count me
make-
in. They're sending little emojis.
God.
Heart flowing. Anyway, thanks so much. Let's end the podcast and we'll take a group photo and then we'll post it. And this episode's going up tonight, so it's going to be great.
Shit.
It's going to be a great episode. Thank you so much for doing
Thanks
the
for
podcast.
having me, guys. It's
Come
so
back
exciting.
anytime.
This is so
Everyone,
fun.
go see Allie's show, or if you live in LA, go see Heist or follow her on Instagram, and then see when she's performing in your town.
Yeah.
And again, thanks for coming over. We
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.